Welcome to our viewers in Indonesia and across the world. It is time for the 3-hour news show, and thank you for joining us on See Today. For the next 3 hours, we will bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, of course, around the world. Whether you're tuning in from your TV or hello Internet land as well. I'm Kaisir, and with me are Akir and Aubrey. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you, Koi.
Hey, having a great afternoon today. It's a good day in Jakarta.
Yes. It's a good day so far until now, so hopefully you have a great day as well. And my name is Muhammad Akhir. Welcome to the 3-hour news show. Make sure you all follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at CTD News for the latest updates. And with us today is our own Aubrey Bear for the latest from the business world.
Thank you, Ahir, for the introduction. Yes, I'm Aubrey Bear. We'll take a look at the business and economic update from the country, the region, and elsewhere around the world. But first, let's take a look at what made the top stories for today.
The ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Jakarta to discuss the Myanmar crisis is on the go.
The second G20 held ministers meeting is underway in Bali as the last event before November summit.
In See Today Sport, Indonesian mixed doubles pair Rinov Rivaldi and Pita Haningtyas advanced to the last 16 of the 2022 French Open with a victory over Kim Won-hoo and Jeong Nan-eun of South Korea.
And in our See the Story segment, we'll talk to an expert about a diet plan for people with gastroenteritis or gastrics. So make sure to stay tuned with us on the 3-hour news show all the way through on See Today. Now that sports headline, right, Akir? I'm very, very interested to know why announcers these days are getting the Indonesian wrong all the time, even in French Open, right? They had another incident where they it said India, not Indonesia.
Indonesia, yeah. I saw that as well on the news. So, and it's digital era, you know. It's become so viral just because of that thing. So.
Yeah, and I hope you have an update for that. It's good to know that it's not pulling them back from actually performing well, right? Yes. Well, Aki will bring you the sports updates later, but first, let's take a look at the top stories for today. Clashes that were seen earlier in Bolivian cities on Wednesday have extended to the capital La Paz, with protesters throwing firecrackers at riot police.
The violent protests follow a 5-day-long strike called by opposition lawmakers that proposed a referendum to raise the country's fiscal budget. Protests that first sparked in Santa Cruz City were stirred by the governor, who is also a member of the opposition.
And now we move to the Ukraine. Ukrainian authorities exhumed a mass grave in the Kharkiv region on Wednesday, believed to contain the bodies of the 17 Ukrainian soldiers killed in fighting with Russian forces some 6 months ago.
A forensic investigator told the media that the man died in a Russian offensive on the village near Borova on Kharkiv border with the Luhansk region in April. A member of the community had informed authorities about the burial site after the Ukrainian forces recaptured the area in the recent counter-offensive.
The grave was unmarked and the bodies were unwrapped before burial. Investigators chose a rainy day to exhume the site for security reasons, with Russian positions located only 4 kilometers away towards the east.
13 квітня 2022 року під час бою наші бійці загинули та були поховані на зазначеному місці. Зараз, ймовірно, тут знаходиться близько 17 воїнів Збройних сил України. Місцеві мешканці поховали їх та приглядували за могилою.
And still from Europe, an alleged Russian spy was arrested in Norway on Wednesday.
Norway's security services have detained several Russian citizens in recent weeks suspected of spying. 8 people are in custody for flying drones near or taking pictures of critical infrastructures.
The Air Force-based newspaper, namely the Norton Sentry, released a photo of Jose Assis Guillamaria, a suspected Russian spy who claimed to be a Brazilian national. He worked as a visiting researcher at the Center for Peace Studies at the Arctic University of Norway.
Meanwhile, according to CTV, University of Calgary in Canada has confirmed that Guillamaria attended classes there. The media also stated that Norwegian authorities believe Guillamaria to be part of the so-called Russia's illegal spy. However, there has been no confirmation from Moscow regarding this arrest.
Now move on to Jakarta, Indonesia. ASEAN foreign ministers are now having a meeting in Jakarta today to draw up a response to the growing crisis and violence in Myanmar after the military takeover last year.
Now, recent events in the country, including a military airstrike on Sunday that reportedly killed up to 80 ethnic Kachins, have heightened worries among ASEAN members.
ASEAN's chair, Cambodia, issued a statement on Tuesday saying the group is gravely concerned over the escalating violence. The statement also called for all parties to take concrete action toward an inclusive and constructive dialogue and seek a peaceful solution.
The meeting took place ahead of ASEAN's annual summit on November the 11th to 13th, where a top focus on the leaders will be the Myanmar situation, which has threatened the group's unity. ASEAN members traditionally avoid criticizing each other, and the violence unleashed by Myanmar's military is widely seen as exposing the group's powerlessness in dealing with a geopolitical and humanitarian emergency that could affect all of them.
Now, ASEAN has tried to play a peacemaking role since shortly after the country's military seized power in February last year. It has been seeking to implement a 5-point consensus on Myanmar, which it reached in April last year with little success. The agreement calls for the immediate end to violence, a dialogue among concerned parties, mediation by an ASEAN special envoy, provision of humanitarian aid, and visit to Myanmar by the special envoy to meet all concerned parties.
Meanwhile, Myanmar's military government initially agreed to the consensus but has made little effort to implement it. Aside from seeking humanitarian aid and allowing ASEAN special envoy to visit, and however, it refused to allow envoy Prak Sokhonn to meet with Suu Kyi or Aung San Suu Kyi, who was arrested and is being tried on a variety of charges that critics say are made up to keep her out of politics.
The military had previously said it will not allow outsiders to meet with Suu Kyi while her court cases continue. In response, ASEAN has not allowed Myanmar's leaders to participate in its official meetings, though working levels officials have joined some.
Now, ASEAN members Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore in particular have urged for more pressure to implement the consensus on the junta. Well, to have the latest updates from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have Reski Anasto there who can give us the latest update on what has been happening, or perhaps if there already has been a statement released by the foreign ministers. Reski, what do you have for us?
Yes, so the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, have called the special meetings regarding on the escalation of violence that took place in Myanmar. And this special meeting took place at the ASEAN building located in Jakarta, where the ASEAN calls for an immediate cessation of fighting and continuation of dialogue between all parties. And also, ASEAN issued a note recalling the recent attacks on the prison in Ensen and clashes in Karen State, and also the recent attacks that take place in Kachin State as the airstrike bombardment on that took place on October 23rd, which estimated killed 30 civilians, where these civilians were attending a celebration of the 62nd anniversary of the founding of the Kachin Independence Organization, which this celebration include the concert that been held, and however the junta military from Myanmar have held the attack on an airstrike attack and bombardment to the civilian that take place. On to this, Retno Marsudi, as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, are telling on the deep and sending the deepest condolence as a representative from Indonesia to the Myanmar civilians that have affected by this attack that been done by the junta military that took place on 23rd of October. And here is a statement by Retno Marsudi as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Okay, and the attack by Myanmar military is held on the music concert, and which is she also expressed deepest condolence and sympathies and their and families, which must be stopped immediately, and Indonesia conveys that this message must be conveyed immediately to the Tatmadaw. So Tatmadaw is the military force in Myanmar itself, and this is her statement regarding on the attack that took place on 23rd of October in Myanmar.
Serangan yang dilakukan junta militer Myanmar pada saat pelaksanaan konser musik di Kachin harus dikecam dan tidak dapat diterima. Indonesia menyampaikan duka cita dan simpati kepada para korban dan keluarganya. Tindakan kekerasan sekali lagi harus segera dihentikan. Dan Indonesia menyampaikan agar pesan inilah yang harus segera disampaikan kepada Tatmadaw.
All right, so that was the deepest condolence that been sent by the Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi, and along with the special meeting that took place in ASEAN building, which the meeting is about the concern of the 5 points of consent that already been given out on April in Jakarta, to be followed up and also to be updated regarding on the significant effort or been done by the 5-point meeting. So the meeting is about, let me recall the meeting about this, which about the immediate end to violence in the country, dialogue among all parties, the appointment of a special envoy, humanitarian assistance by ASEAN, and the special envoy's visit to Myanmar to meet with all parties. So these 5-point consensus have been delivered and have been pointed out in Jakarta back in April 2022, and which is to help Myanmar to relieve from crisis. And right now, and we already asked the minister how is the time framework regarding on the 5 consensus, and until now there are no specific time framework on this, and we are still waiting for the significant efforts to be held over here. And also for more information, that since 16th of September, President Jokowi have told Prime Minister Hun Sen to discuss on 5 points of consensus, and also more than 2,300 civilians were killed by the military since the February 2021. As for this to be, this is international concern, there is a question regarding, is this going to be brought up to be brought out during the G20 summit? And the answer is yes, which the Minister of Foreign Affairs will bring the non-political representative in the G20 summit. So which means in the chair for Myanmar representative will be emptied, as this will be representative from the non-political representative. Back to studio.
Rizky Ernesto, thank you so much for the update. Stay safe out there, and we'll wait more updates shall they come to pass. Well, you guys, what do you think about the most recent update? They just had the meeting today, but it looks like it's just a proposal meeting before the actual ASEAN summit that's happening in early November, right?
Yeah, and talking about ASEAN, ASEAN has actually a long-standing policy of non-interference in member sovereign affairs, but some nations actually have called for the bloc to be bolder in actually taking action against the junta. And also Malaysian foreign minister has said ASEAN must seriously review the plan, and if it should be replaced with something better. Saifuddin Abdullah has also met his counterpart from Myanmar National Unity Government, a shadow administration outlawed by the junta.
Yes, and related to the event that has been happening right now here in Jakarta, Foreign Minister of the ASEAN, or Association of Southeast Asian Nations, agreed today to seek a consensus, beside the 5 consensus previously, in making any decision to address violence in Myanmar, which has been under military rules, we all know, since February 2021 coup. And according to the meeting unanimously agreed that the decision-making in ASEAN shall be based on consultation and consensus to address the situation in Myanmar, according to a chair's statement released after the half-day special meeting in Jakarta today. And actually, as the background, the meeting proposed by Indonesia and chaired by Cambodia also deliberated key recommendations to be submitted to their leaders at an annual ASEAN summit, which should happen next month in Phnom Penh. So according to the statement as well.
So this is very interesting. So basically this meeting is for the foreign ministers to gather again to recap, okay, what's happened to the 5 consensus that we've proposed last year, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
So should we take a firmer, so they have made the key recommendations, which they have not announced yet, but these key recommendations seems to have been agreed to be forwarded to their leaders first to consider before meeting again to come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
It sounds complicated.
In Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Yes,
but
in Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
Because the level of urgency is really high urgency, so that's why the meeting being held like a week before the ASEAN summit.
So I think this might be the additional priority agenda for the upcoming meeting, and it's very interesting that Rizky also already mentioned before that they've already talked about consideration whether there will be a representative from Myanmar present at the G20 meeting later in November as well. So there is a lot of key recommendations. Hopefully they will also forward what they will agree on upon what they will do, because for me it feels like it's ping pong all along. We want like firm action, right? Yeah. So I understand the bureaucracy, and this is a part of it, but hopefully next week is a meeting in Phnom Penh, and they will finally come to a consensus of what they will do next.
Yes, because I think the biggest issue, according to this bloc, the ASEAN members, is the response of the junta's non-compliance with the so-called of 5-point consensus. I mean, we had that 5 consensus before, but in action, it is less of compliance from the Myanmar junta.
I mean, what kind of angle could they take? It's just very interesting because they have you mentioned before the no interference policy, but what angle can they really take to push the current military junta to a corner and have them, follow the consensus at least?
At least, right?
At least, right?
Let's hoping from this latest meeting, hopefully there will be some more harder decision.
Actually, I was hoping answers to our questions.
Okay, and moving on to the next story, authorities in central Jakarta inspected pharmacies earlier today as a preventive measure against surging acute kidney failure cases.
Now, some pharmacies in the area have made prescriptions mandatory for certain products.
Elsewhere in Depok, it is in West Java province, 4 out of 5 acute kidney failure patients have reportedly died.
Depok Mayor Muhammad Idris said on Thursday that 4 out of 5 acute kidney failure patients have reportedly died after allegedly consuming medicines to relieve fever. He added that this data was taken from the Indonesian Health Ministry, but did not disclose what products the patients had taken.
Kalau dari kementerian laporannya memang sudah ada 5 kan? 5. Yang meninggal 6 atau 5 ya, saya lupa itu. Yang meninggal kalau nggak salah 4. Yang masih dalam penanganan itu ada seperti itu. Dan ini sudah diklarifikasi penyebabnya itu. Nah, penyebabnya diantaranya tadi konsumsi zat-zat yang memang ada dalam kandungan obat-obat penurun panas.
Pak, 5 kasus itu remaja atau anak-anak?
Anak-anak, ada yang remaja ya. Kalau 14 tahun itu remaja ya. Kalau istilah anak-anak kan 17 tahun ke bawah ya. Jadi memang anak-anak.
In central Jakarta, the government inspected local pharmacies on Thursday to ensure that syrup medicines containing ethylene and diethylene glycol are no longer available for purchase. Local health service head Risma Sari said the agency has confiscated 30 products. In the area, 3 acute kidney failure cases have been reported so far, with 1 death. 1 is still under treatment and 1 has recovered. Pharmacists are now urging parents to present prescriptions before purchasing medicines for toddlers under 1-year-old.
Ya, untuk bayi kalau misalkan demam, kita arahkan dulu ke dokter anak atau yang fasilitas kesehatan gitu, misalkan ke klinik atau puskesmas gitu.
Berarti tidak bisa beli langsung obat yang panas itu nggak bisa Bu ya?
Karena untuk kayak sirup kan tidak bisa. Gitu. Terus kalau yang supos juga harus minimal resep dokter gitu. Maksudnya paling kalau misalnya usia 6 tahun bisa kita kasih tablet, kita sesuaikan dosisnya, bisa minum setengah tablet.
Kimia Pharma recently withdrew 11 products, and as of now, the pharmacy is allowed to sell 23 products to the public. Siti The Contributor reporting from Jakarta and Depok, West Java.
And still on the story, Indonesia is looking into its higher number of acute kidney injury cases among children related to syrup medication.
With limited choices on hand, parents are advised to choose home treatment at first when their children have fever, while hospitals are on guard monitoring children.
Some paracetamol medicinal syrups in Indonesia have been said to contain ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol that are linked to the death of 245 children with acute kidney injury. With medicinal syrup out of the options, parents are looking for home treatments to bring a child's fever down. Monitoring hydration by giving enough fluid, cold compress to evaporate the hot fever in the body, and enough rest are several alternatives. However, rising number of cases also means that parents must look out for symptoms of the acute kidney injury.
But for the first detection, urine production and urine color is very important to monitor by the parent. If the urine production is below 0.5 milli per kg per hours, mean that is the first sign of acute kidney injury that meant the parents have to bring the children directly to the doctors. Or if there is the changes color of the urine, for example, we can see the urine color of the kids will be reddish or maybe dark yellow. That's mean also something not normal with the urine color that make the parents have to bring the children to the doctor directly.
Fever, gastroenteritis problems such as vomiting and diarrhea or respiratory symptoms such as fever and cough are some of the signs that must be monitored. However, urine production is the red light to watch out for. In response to the situation, hospitals around the country have engaged in intense communication with the Health Minister and Food and Drug Supervisory Agency. Hospitals have also intensified its child care when patients begin exhibiting symptoms of acute kidney injury.
Gejala-gejala seperti demam, gejala yang di bagian pencernaan, terus saluran pernafasan, nah semua itu bisa berpotensi menjadi gangguan pada ginjal anak. Nah yang harus kita sikapi adalah gejala-gejala itu. Di pelayanan kami sudah memberikan warning kepada pelayanan untuk lebih concern terhadap gejala-gejala yang muncul terhadap pasien-pasien anak yang dirawat di rumah sakit MMC untuk dilakukan observasi yang lebih ketat. Apalagi dengan ada gejala penurunan jumlah urin dan perubahan dari jumlah urin selama gejalanya itu muncul.
Health authorities have temporarily banned sale of some medicinal syrup, while the country's Food and Drug Supervisory Agency have removed 5 medications that contain high levels of ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol out of circulation.
And we're going for our first quick break, but when we come back, we'll have the latest from Southeast Asia and around the world.
And later during the hour, I'll bring you the latest from the world of business.
So please stay with us right here on the 3-Hour News Show, only on See Today.
Snake specialist Nirut Chomnam has dedicated the last 20 years of his life to the study of these reptiles. Snakes are born survivors, able to endure the toughest conditions, and they've adapted well to a range of habitats across Thailand.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round up some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Coelho. Let's say hello to Bebo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Coelho. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing. I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know.
What makes a new place feel like home? I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on See Indonesia.
This is me crying out loud, whatever. Wow, look at this. My shoes, guys.
Lydia MD. MD-nya ada panjangnya tuh. Apa tuh? My Dream. Oke. Bisa baca ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Hey, lady. Happy anniversary.
Good morning. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Hey, hold on. Let me just skip.
People have been taking our jobs today.
Big round of applause.
For making the C Morning Show at the first time, we keep discussing and changing until like a day before on air. I think 5 minutes before on air, we're still changing and like all the clip hasn't ready yet.
Right.
So it's like it's very tension for all of us at the time.
Welcome back to the Hour News Show with us on See Today. And today, the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries is capping off its Bulan Cinta Laut 2022, or Love the Ocean Month campaign, an initiative aimed at reducing plastic waste levels in the oceans.
That's the point, the plastic waste in ocean. So throughout the month, the ministry has continued to urge local fishers all over Indonesia to dedicate their time to collecting waste from the sea. So in return, they will receive cash based on how much they collect.
So far, the fishers have collected more than 67 tons of waste in the ocean. The campaign kicked off on October the 1st and is being held at 14 different locations until it ends on October the 31st, right on Halloween.
All right.
Dari laut ke pantai untuk tadi sama seperti nangkap ikan. Itu aja dari saya. Sekali lagi terima kasih. Nah, kita akan bangun juga 52 spot seperti yang ada dibangun di Bali sekarang di seluruh penjuru tanah air, sehingga kita akan nanti bisa mengelola sampah kira-kira 12.000 ton per hari, yang bisa 80% jatuh ke laut, sekarang itu kita tarik. Jadi kita yakin dalam beberapa tahun ke depan nih sampah yang masuk ke laut akan jauh berkurang.
Now, 80% of waste in Indonesia waters comes from the land. Some 1.29 million tons of plastic washes into the seas every year now to account for 30% of the total waste. Here before that, our very own Miss Earth just posted on her Instagram. Karina Basrewan,
yes,
that she'll be doing a cleanup in Bekasi.
Bekasi, we should follow her action, yeah?
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so meanwhile, to know more about the details about the campaign, now we're connected with our own reporter Adin Faton and video journalist Anita Putri. So Adin, what do you have for us related to the issue of ocean plastic debris and the effort to involving the fishers, yeah?
Yep.
Karina? So what do you have for us?
So to clean the Indonesian marine ecosystem from hazardous material, hazardous pollution, namely or particularly plastic waste, the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fishery is topping off the National Loving the Ocean 2022 month, this month on October 2022. The aim of this national movement is to, once again, to clean Indonesian marine ecosystem from hazardous pollution, namely plastic waste. Now, who is going to do that? The one who's going to do that is, at this time, is the local fishermen in several places in Indonesia. Now, for further details of this national movement, we are going to interview the Special Assistant of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, Bapak Dodi Ismanto. Yes. Sorry if I got your name wrong. So
it's Dodi Ismanto.
Okay. So first question is, how hazardous, how dangerous the pollution in our water?
Yeah. Right now, the plastic pollution is very dominant in our water, ocean. According to the research that come up in 2021, it's still 85% of the marine debris is come from plastic waste. So it's very dangerous. It can be composite to become microplastic, and the fish eat it, and it can be cause cancer for the one who eat the fish. So this is not good for the ecosystem. So that's why our government is come up with regulation that make the roadmap until 2025. We must reduce the population of plastic waste in our ocean to 70%. Right now, according to Pak Luhut, he can predict that by the end on 2020, it can be the population reduced to around 28%. That's why our minister, Mr. Sakti Wahyu Trenggono, come up with this movement, the national movement of Love the Ocean Month. This to reduce more and can be accelerate so we can reduce the population of the plastic waste in our ocean.
How has the national movement going? Is it any good? How many tons maybe have the fishermen collected?
Okay, this national movement is kicked off on the 1st October and it's not done yet. Until this day, it's around 57 tons that plastic waste being collected by our fishermen. The fishermen that joined this movement around 14,000, and we allocate around 1 billion rupiah to compensate the fishermen that collect the plastic waste from the ocean to the land.
So the fishermen have or receive a compensation of some sort like that? Yeah, Pak Doni Ismanto.
Yes, the compensate is not the main goal of this movement. It's just to be an incentive to the fishermen. So our theme for the circular economy in this movement is we convert the plastic waste that being collected by the fishermen with the benchmark with the lowest price of the fish in that area, in that provinces, in that season. So maybe if you see the amount of the money, if we calculate the consists of around 14,000 fishermen in 13 area, it's small. But that's not the point. Our point is to educate the fishermen, educate the people in the land, because a lot of the plastic waste go to the ocean is coming from the land. That's the main goal.
Thank you so much for your information, Pak Doni Ismanto, the Special Assistant for the Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries. So once again, this strategy, the Love the Ocean Month 2022, is one of the important steps in order for Indonesia to run the blue economy strategy, where our marine ecosystem become the producers, or to run the economic of blue economic system. Back to you, Akhir, in the studio.
Aden Fatoni and video journalist Anita Putri, thank you very much for your live report from Bali. So it's interesting and I think quite strategic to give the strategy of incentive to the fishermen for doing collecting the ocean plastic debris. This is the main issue actually. And when I saw Pak Luhut, so I remember in 2019 when I attended a World Economic Forum in Davos. So that was the first time at least the issue of ocean plastic debris was addressed to Indonesia at the time. Because at the time Indonesia was mentioned as the second largest nation who contribute of ocean plastic debris in the planet. But at the same time, we have the argument that when we talk about blue economy, so we have to see the Earth as one blue ocean. So we act in the practice, we cannot never put the certainty of the resource of the plastic debris. For example, the plastic debris from Indonesia not only come from Indonesia, it can be from some other.
It's the waters. Everything is interconnected.
Yes.
But, you know, I think the most important part is that we have enough awareness to stop adding plastic waste from, you know, our lands or in the rivers that are close to our lands. I mean, that is the scariest part, because when it goes to the rivers, then we know it'll go to the ocean. And we have to just educate, keep educating, and try our best to not do that. Especially some viral videos have been going on of people just throwing their, you know, waste into the rivers, and that is very worrisome. And hopefully this kind of awareness really just educates the awareness to people in Indonesia how important it is to contribute. But speaking of Indonesia, we're still on stories from Indonesia, where the XBB variant has caused a new surge of COVID-19 cases in 24 countries, and that's the latest COVID update.
Yes, as of October the 26th, Indonesia COVID-19 active cases had risen to 3,048 patients. There were 4 XBB variant cases in Indonesia from September to October. According to the CDC, the XBB has mild symptoms such as fever, cough, flu, and fatigue. However, the variant is more contagious.
The weekly positivity rate nationally rose 8.88%, and the government is therefore encouraging the public to complete the 3rd vaccination booster to curb the surge of new COVID-19 cases.
WHO menyatakan vaksin yang tersedia masih efektif. Meski berdasarkan studi di Cina, varian XBB ini dapat menghindari antibodi, yang artinya orang yang pernah terinfeksi varian lain sebelumnya dan yang sudah mendapatkan vaksin lengkap tetap beresiko untuk dapat terinfeksi varian baru ini juga. Tetapi ketahuilah bahwa vaksin booster akan melindungi dari resiko penyakit yang parah. Sehingga vaksin masih merupakan hal yang sangat penting untuk menekan gejala yang timbul.
I think that's the important highlight, right?
Yeah.
It's not about not getting infected, but being to lower the risk of a severe symptoms that could lead to fatalities.
Yeah.
And we've learned the lesson. So if you haven't gotten your boosters, it is really time to get them as soon as possible. And still on COVID-19, a needle-free vaccination, though, with a sweet twist, is now available in Shanghai.
Interesting, yeah? The dose is administered via a cup containing the aerosol of the vaccine, with the recipient taking a deep breath from it before holding his or her breath for around 5 seconds and then slowly exhaling.
The vaccination site of the Tianshan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine welcomed the first citizen to receive the inhaled vaccine on Wednesday. In addition to those who have received 1 dose of the CanSino Bio COVID-19 vaccine, there are also citizens who have received 2 doses of other vaccines to boost their immunity. And many people choose inhaled vaccines because it is painless, no needle.
Yeah, because free from the needle, right? And just like the injected vaccines, a diet and rest are required on the day of inhaling the vaccination. According to statistics, there are more than 100 Shanghai citizens who have made an appointment to receive the inhaled COVID vaccine on the first day. There are currently 25 inhalable COVID vaccination points open in the city and at least 1 in each district.
Akir, do you remember how excited we were that there was a breathalyzer COVID-19 test available in Indonesia that they used for a very long time, made here? And it's always good to know that a painless option is always available.
Yes, there is always the use of the free needle. Yeah, it is a new invention, I think, in China. So because we know that some people is needle phobia.
Oh yes, but what necessary is necessary, and it's good that innovation keeps on happening.
All right, for right now, we're going for another break.
And after the break, Aubrey will deliver some economics and business updates. Aubrey, what do you have for us?
Yes, after the break, I will take a look at the collaboration between the Indonesian government and also influencer to raise awareness on the G20 summit. So stay here only on the 3-Hour News Show on See Today.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Hi, my name's Mustafa Ahmad. I come from Australia. Welcome to my home.
I like the Indonesian people, cultural differences.
We're married from the different culture that you have to learn from each other, and what is good that we have to keep it, and what's not good that we have to put away.
Marriage is an adventure. Whatever the nationality, just go for it. Get mixed.
We'll visit massive factories and master craftsmen. We'll experience unique ways in which things are made and even test some of them out. Rock and roll! Needless to say, this will be pretty epic. Oh, wow. I'm Justin Bratton. Join me as I uncover some of the best, the most colorful, and the most innovative bespoke products on the market today.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This paradise island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
we're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Maybe you want to finish off the...
No, I'm good.
Oh, this looks great. Super fast, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose Sukacita as the name of your brand?
Actually, I found that true, lasting happiness happens when you can contribute and work for something bigger.
It is a challenge. Right. Right. Good job.
Really?
All right. Yes, it's right. Okay.
Yes, welcome back to the 3 Hour News Show on See Today. First story for the business segment, the Indonesian government has collaborated with several influencers to socialize issues that will be discussed at the G20 summit. This initiative aims to raise the public's awareness and support to the summit, especially among young generations. These influencers were given an opportunity to summarize any information related to the G20 creatively. The government hopes that this initiative can educate the public on 3 priority issues, namely global health architecture, sustainable energy transition, and digital transformation, which will be discussed at the summit in November.
Betapa perhatian itu kepada kita. Nanti Om, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat.
Kira-kira nih menurut Wahyu.
Namanya saja influencer, ya influencer dari kata influence, mempengaruhi, begitu kan? Nah, mereka ini adalah orang-orang yang dianggap, yang kami anggap dan kami percaya itu mereka bisa mempengaruhi masyarakat secara umum, terutama kalangan milenial, karena ini adalah generasi Z, ya, generasi milenial begitu. Nah, kami cuma minta mereka mempengaruhi di tingkat pengetahuan, artinya membuat orang tahu ada G20 di Indonesia.
Jadi sih bakal lebih banyak memberikan awareness di platform saya di digital, di social media tentang bagaimana sih konsep dari G20 ini secara basic aja dan istilahnya menyederhanakan semua bahasa-bahasa. Jadi teman-teman followers, teman-teman audiens saya itu bisa lebih mengerti lagi sebenarnya fungsi G20 ini apa, seberapa penting Indonesia menjadi presidensi atau tuan rumah G20 kali ini.
So talk about G20. The G20 second health minister meeting is underway in Bali from October the 27th to the 28th. The meeting, which featured the theme of strengthening global health architecture, focused on 5 points of discussion. Our reporter Andira Putri has the details in Bali. Hi Andira.
Yeah, good evening. We're at the Intercontinental Jimbaran, Bali, where just like around 30 minutes ago, the G20 Second Health Ministers meeting has just finished. So this is the first day of the meeting, and tomorrow they will continue to do it. And for this year, still related to the Indonesia priority issues as the G20 host presidency, it brings the theme of strengthening global health architecture. So various countries have participated on these events. The delegates are coming, including from the United States, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and there's also from Italy. And the highlight would be from India, which have their own health and family welfare minister, Mansukh Mandavia. This is really important because next year the host presidency will be held by India. And for this year, for today's meeting and also tomorrow's meeting, there are 5 key points which has been discussed, and one of them is the financial intermediary fund. So this is actually have gaining traction, have become one of the milestones during Indonesia G20 presidency. And for more details, here is the statement from Indonesian Health Minister Budi Gunadi Sadikin.
So definitely the first outcome is
the establishment of financial intermediary fund. That is the greatest achievement. And it has been formally established, co-managed by the World Bank, and also WHO is involved. And 18 institutions, including large country, has pledged 1.4 billion. That is the first outcome.
So Aubrey, if you take a look at the financial intermediary fund itself, it has become one of the way as a pandemic preparation and also prevention as well as response, because during Indonesia host as the G20 host presidency, we are still battling in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. And aside from them, the second and also the third key point is also about still reading about the COVID-19 to prevent future pandemics. So they still review about the COVID-19 tools accelerator as well as global genomic surveillance. And the next point, which is really interesting, is that they currently the G20 members are agreed to develop a global health protocol standard. So this also a response towards the COVID-19 pandemic. In the future, we are hoping that we can travel across border whenever something like this happens. So currently it's still being developed by the WHO. So there will be a universal QR code which has all of your data about whether you already got vaccinated and also whether you have already got a swab test and also things about your health data. So it will be have some kind of standard around the world, so you will not have to worry no more about traveling. And also if this later on will be developed, there will be, and it will be applied to more than 119 countries. And also for the last one, this is also another improvement during Indonesia G20 presidency, because right now 7 G20 members have showed interest in creating manufacturer hub for vaccine, therapeutics, as well as diagnostics. So the number is increased from August, which are at that time there are still 5 countries, but now there are 7 countries, which are Indonesia, Argentina, India, Brazil, South Africa, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia. Once again, despite all of the challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic, during our G20 presidency, we managed to stay true, we managed to fight and also create some kind of achievements. And this discussion regarding the G20 Health Ministers meeting will continue tomorrow, and we'll continue to give you further updates about this from Bali. Back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Andira Putri, live from the G20 Second Health Minister meeting in Bali. Thank you so much, Andira. And those were the economics and business update for this hour. When we return, Ahir will bring you the latest from the world of sports. So stay with us.
What makes a new place feels like home, I always believe it's about the people and the community.
I love the tomato sauce.
This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on See Indonesia.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Toeli.
Let's say hello to Bibo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Toeli. For us, going solo right now is a refreshing. I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge.
It's the only word I know.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
This is me crying out loud, whatever. Wow. My shoes, guys.
Media MD. MD-nya ada panjangnya tuh. Apa tuh? My Dream.
Oh.
Bisa bahasa ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, visi misi, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
Ngeselak keluar.
Hey, ladies. Happy anniversary.
Good morning. Happy anniversary.
Hey, hold on. Let me just give
People have been taking our jobs today.
big round of applause.
For making the C Morning Show at the first time, we keep discussing and changing until like a day before on air. I think 5 minutes before on air, we're still changing and like all the clip hasn't ready yet.
Right.
So it's like it's very tension for all of us at the time.
Hello and welcome back. It's time for C Today's Sport, and this time you're still with me, Muhammad Ahir, and our first story comes from badminton. Indonesian mixed doubles pair Rinov Rinaldi and Pita Haningtyas have advanced to the last 16th of the 2022 French Open after they beat Kim Won-ho and Jeong Na-eun of South Korea earlier today. So the Indonesian pair won in straight sets, 25-15 and 25-13, in the 33-minute duel held at the Stade Pierre de Coubertin in Paris. Overall, they were constantly more dominant, even though Kim and Jeong upped the offensive in the second set. Rivaldi and Haningtyas will face another South Korean duo, namely Seo Seung-jae and Chae Yu-jung, in the next round. And now let's move on to soccer. Brazil's Atlético Paranense arrived this Wednesday in Guayaquil, Ecuador, ahead of the Copa Libertadores final against rivals and fellow Brazilian club Flamengo. The 2021 Copa Sudamericana winner wants to crown the work of veteran head coach Luis Felipe Scolari, who could be doing his last dance at the final after announcing he will no longer be a manager. However, the Southern Brazil powerhouse wants to extend Scolari's time as a manager, hoping he will lead the team at the FIFA Club World Cup next year. Still on football, where the continent's rising stars are set for exciting tussles. Following the completion of the AFC Under-20 Asian Cup Uzbekistan 2023 draw on Wednesday. The 16 teams were divided into 4 groups, with the top 2 from each group to advance to the quarterfinals. Host Uzbekistan were placed in Group A together with Indonesia, Iraq, and Syria. Group B is made up of Qatar, Australia, Vietnam, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Meanwhile, the Korea, Republic, Tajikistan, Jordan, and Oman are in Group C. And Group D features defending champions Saudi Arabia, Japan, China, and Kyrgyzstan Republic, drawn together. The tournament will be held in the cities of Tashkent and Fergana from March the 1st to the 18th of 2023.
Competition Uzbekistan have not won yet. Runner-up in 2019 in Asia and in the world.
Now it's time for basket. From Indonesia, the IBL Indonesia Cup 2022 will be held next month in Solo, Central Java province, and will feature a different concept. The players are very excited and have been waiting for this event to prove the results of their training for months.
Dalam kesempatan hari ini, IBL akan dibantu oleh 3 legend basket Indonesia.
On Wednesday, the Indonesian Basketball League, or IBL, held a drawing for the IBL Indonesia Cup 2022 in Senopati area, South Jakarta. 15 teams will compete in the tournament. They are divided into 4 groups, with 3 groups consist of 4 teams, while 1 group consists of 3 teams. The 2 best teams from each group will continue to the next round. Held as a showcase of the quality of local players, this event will show a different concept to entertain basketball fans in the capital city.
Konsep ini agak berbeda di mana nanti kita akan melibatkan warga atau masyarakat pecinta bola basket di kota setempat. Seperti dari sekolah-sekolah akan ada kompetisi dance, akan ada kompetisi cheerleaders, ada kompetisi skill challenge bola basket, ada kompetisi 3-point shoot bola basket untuk anak-anak level SMA.
The top 4 IBL teams are planning to compete in the ASEAN and Asian levels in the near future. Players also feel excited for this upcoming event.
Saya sebagai pemain sangat excited sekali untuk kompetisi ini karena ini penantian kita ya setelah pandemi gitu, bertanding lagi di satu kota, ditonton sama fans gitu banyak. Mungkin ini juga penantian buat semua pemain juga, pemain-pemain IBL yang udah berlatih berbulan-bulan, dan ini mungkin di kompetisi Indonesia Cup ini ya ini mau pembuktian mereka untuk selama hasil latihan.
The upcoming Indonesia Cup 2022 will be held from November 4th to the 13th at Sritex Arena in Solo, Central Java. Nugrahanto Margo, Ferry Ahmad for See Today.
Van Mobley scored season-high 22 points, while Jarrett Allen had 80 points and 16 rebounds to help the Cleveland Cavaliers beat Orlando Magic, who are 10-3 and 92 on Wednesday. So Donovan Mitchell also added 14 points and 8 assists for Cleveland, which has won 3 in a row after dropping its opener at Toronto. All-star center Allen is averaging 13 points and 11 points, 5 rebounds with 3 double-doubles. Top overall draft pick Paolo Banchero, which had 29 points, 8 rebounds and 4 assists for Orlando, extending his streak of 20-plus point games to begin his career to 5. All-star point guard Darius Garland, who missed his 3rd consecutive game with a left eye laceration, took part in Cleveland's morning shoot-around. It was his first on-court activity since being poked in the eye by Toronto's Gary Trent Jr. on October the 19th.
That's 10 and counting. Mitchell watched by Ben.
All right, that's a wrap for sport for this hour, but when we return, we will have more information. So please keep it here on the 3-Hour News Show, only on See Today.
Maybe you want to finish off the...
No, I'm good.
Oh, this looks great. Super fast, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose Sukacita as the name of your brand?
Actually, I found that true lasting happiness happens when you can contribute and work for something bigger.
It is a challenge. Right. Right. Good job.
Really?
All right. Yes, it's right. Okay.
Hi, my name's Mustafa Ahmad. I come from Australia. Welcome to my home.
I like the Indonesian people, cultural differences.
We're married from the different culture that you have to learn from each other, and what is good that we have to keep it and what's not good that we have to put away.
Marriage is an adventure. Whatever the nationality, just go for it. Get mixed.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
We'll visit massive factories and master craftsmen. We'll experience unique ways in which things are made and even test some of them out. Rock and roll! Needless to say, this will be pretty epic. Oh, wow. I'm Justin Bratton. Join me as I uncover some of the best, the most colorful, and the most innovative bespoke products on the market today.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This Paradise Island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
we're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. See the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Welcome to our viewers in Indonesia and across the world. Thank you for joining us on a 3-hour news show on See Today. It is the second hour in, so for the next 2 hours, we'll continue to bring you the latest from Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and of course, around the world. I'm your host for today, Kai Soria, and with me are my two lovely co-hosts. Let's say hello.
Yes, thank you, Kai. Yeah, hello, Aubrey. So my name is Muhammad Ahir. Welcome to the 3-hour news show. Make sure you always follow us on Instagram and YouTube, all at See Today News for the latest updates. And with us today is our own Aubrey Bear for the latest from the business world.
Yes, I am Aubrey Bear. We'll take a look at market and business update for this hour and also the country and the region elsewhere around the world. But first, let's take a look at what made the top stories for today.
ASEAN foreign ministers meet in Jakarta to discuss Myanmar crisis.
The second G20 held ministers meeting is underway in Bali as the last event before the November summit.
In sport, Indonesian mixed double pair Rino Frivaldi and Pita Haningtyas advanced to the last 16th of the 2022 French Open with a victory over Kim Won-ho and Jeong Na-eun of South Korea.
And in our See the Story segment, we'll talk to an expert about a diet plan for people with gastroenteritis. So if you feel you know somebody who needs this information, or perhaps for you yourself, stay tuned all the way through on the 3-hour news show on See Today.
And first story for the segment, Indonesia's drug regulator BPOM continues to inspect hundreds of products suspected to contain substance linked to acute kidney failures.
In a press conference earlier today, agency head Penny Lukito said that BPOM has bound products containing 4 substances, namely propylene and polyethylene glycol, sorbitol, and glycerin.
The briefing also included updates on products found to contain no banned substances. BPOM Deputy Head for Traditional Medicine, Supplements and Cosmetic Supervision, Reri Indriani, also updated the press on the results of tests so far.
The agency reported that 133 products have been cleared as safe and that their sales could resume.
Jadi ini adalah yang tanpa pelarut, ya. Saya kira pemerintah dengan kehati-hatian, maka sekarang hanya membolehkan produk sirup yang tanpa pelarut, ya. Jadi bukan tidak lagi membolehkan produk sirup, tapi sudah dengan adanya keluar surat edaran dari Kementerian Kesehatan, artinya sudah dibolehkan produk sirup yang tidak menggunakan 4 jenis pelarut tersebut, ya. Propylene glycol, polyethylene glycol, glycerin, dan sorbitol. Itu ya, 4 itu.
And authorities in central Jakarta inspected pharmacies earlier today as a preventive measure against surging acute kidney failure cases.
Now, some pharmacies in the area have made prescriptions mandatory for certain products.
Elsewhere in Depok, in Java province, West Java province, 4 out of 5 acute kidney failure patients have reportedly died.
Depok Mayor Muhammad Idris said on Thursday that 4 out of 5 acute kidney failure patients have reportedly died after allegedly consuming medicines to relieve fever. He added that this data was taken from the Indonesian Health Ministry, but did not disclose what products the patients had taken.
Kalau dari kementerian laporannya memang sudah ada 5 yang meninggal 6 atau 5 ya, saya lupa itu. Yang meninggal kalau nggak salah 4, yang masih dalam penanganan itu ada seperti itu. Dan ini sudah diklarifikasi penyebabnya itu. Nah, penyebabnya diantaranya tadi konsumsi zat-zat yang memang ada dalam kandungan obat-obat penurun panas.
Pak, 5 kasus itu remaja atau anak-anak?
Anak-anak, ada yang remaja ya. Kalau 14 tahun itu remaja ya. Kalau istilah anak-anak kan 17 tahun ke bawah ya. Jadi memang anak-anak.
In central Jakarta, the government inspected local pharmacies on Thursday to ensure that syrup medicines containing ethylene and diethylene glycol are no longer available for purchase. Local health service head Risma Sari said the agency has confiscated 30 products. In the area, 3 acute kidney failure cases have been reported so far, with 1 death. 1 is still under treatment and 1 has recovered. Pharmacists are now urging parents to present prescriptions before purchasing medicines for toddlers under 1 year old.
Ya, untuk bayi kalau misalkan demam, kita arahkan dulu ke dokter anak atau yang vaskes kesehatan gitu, misalkan ke klinik atau puskesmas gitu.
Berarti tidak bisa beli langsung obat yang panas itu nggak bisa bu ya?
Karena untuk kayak sirup kan tidak bisa. Gitu. Terus kalau yang supos juga harus minimal resep dokter gitu. Maksudnya paling kalau misalnya usia 6 tahun bisa kita kasih tablet, kita sesuaikan dosisnya, bisa minum setengah tablet.
Kimia Pharma recently withdrew 11 products, and as of now, the pharmacy is allowed to sell 23 products to the public. Siti Day contributor reporting from Jakarta and Depok, West Java.
Indonesia is looking into its higher number of acute kidney injury cases among children related to the syrup medication issue.
Yes, with limited choices on hand, parents are advised to choose home treatment at first when their children have fever, while hospitals are on guard monitoring children.
Some paracetamol medicinal syrups in Indonesia have been said to contain ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol that are linked to the death of 205 children with acute kidney injury. With medicinal syrup out of the options, parents are looking for home treatments to bring a child's fever down. Monitoring hydration by giving enough fluid, cold compress to evaporate the hot fever in the body, and enough rest are several alternatives. However, rising number of cases also means that parents must look out for symptoms of the acute kidney injury.
But for the first detection, urine production and urine color is very important to monitor by the parent. If the urine production is below 0.5 milli per kg per hours, mean that is the first sign of acute kidney injury that meant the parents have to bring the children directly to the doctors. Or if there is the changes color of the urine, for example, we can see the urine color of the kids will be reddish or maybe dark yellow. That's mean also something not normal with the urine color that make the parents have to bring the children to the doctor directly.
Fever, gastroenteritis problems such as vomiting and diarrhea or respiratory symptoms such as fever and cough are some of the signs that must be monitored. However, urine production is the red light to watch out for. In response to the situation, hospitals around the country have engaged in intense communication with the Health Minister and Food and Drug Supervisory Agency. Hospitals have also intensified its child care when patients begin exhibiting symptoms of acute kidney injury.
Gejala-gejala seperti demam, gejala yang di bagian pencernaan, terus saluran pernafasan, nah semua itu bisa berpotensi menjadi gangguan pada ginjal anak. Nah, yang harus kita sikapi adalah gejala-gejala itu. Di pelayanan kami sudah memberikan warning kepada pelayanan untuk lebih concern terhadap gejala-gejala yang muncul terhadap pasien-pasien anak yang dirawat di rumah sakit MMC untuk dilakukan observasi yang lebih ketat. Apalagi dengan ada gejala penurunan jumlah urin dan perubahan dari jumlah urin selama gejalanya itu muncul.
Health authorities have temporarily banned sales of some medicinal syrup, while the country's Food and Drug Supervisory Agency have removed 5 medications that contain high levels of ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol out of circulation.
So as long as we know that we have to realize about the symptoms of this acute kidney failure in children commonly found based on the agency field survey are fever, diarrhea or vomiting, cough, and a runny nose, as well as, this is the most important, a drastic decrease in urine production. So it is a strong suggestion that if a child presents those symptoms of acute kidney injury, parents are suggested not to take medicine carelessly, albeit the health ministry has released safe drugs, and instead immediately seek help from the nearest health facility. So the notice that if the frequency of urination begins to decrease, parents must immediately report it to the doctor.
Yeah, and also talking about the antidotes, currently the government is actually trying to bring more fomepizole, an antidote for drug poisoning seen in acute kidney failure patient from abroad, and the government is also finalizing antidote purchases from the US and also Japan. And the minister informed that after receiving the medication, the condition of acute kidney injury patient at Cipto Mangunkusumo Hospital showed an improvement. Thus, the medication was found effective in reducing the severity of the condition.
Well, it's certainly very interesting. So we have to also know that fomepizole is not yet being produced in Indonesia.
Right.
It is still very rare, and hence the government is already doing and reaching out to different governments, varying governments, for help to buy, to purchase. It is a very rare, very rare medication, at least here in Indonesia. It's non-existent at this point.
Right.
But fomepizole is, costs 60 million rupiah. So that's about $1,000 US per vial.
Per vials.
Per vial. I'm not actually sure how much is in a vial, but according to the statement given by the spokesperson from the Ministry of Health here in Indonesia, Ibu Siti Nadia Tarmizi, our very own, and she has said that one patient would only require 1.5 milliliters. So that's definitely, more than what's in the vial, hopefully. But the health minister has already stated 6 days ago that although the cost is 16 million for one vial, the patients who are in therapy or in the process of recovering from the acute kidney failure will receive it for free from the government.
That's really good news for the patients.
That is certainly great news.
Yeah.
Hopefully more will be able to come, because it seems like more and more patients is being recorded. Hopefully more and more get to recover too.
Yeah.
All right, meanwhile, let's move on to the next story. ASEAN foreign ministers are meeting in Jakarta today to draw up a response to the growing crisis and violence in Myanmar after the military takeover last year.
Now, recent events in the country, including a military airstrike on Sunday that reportedly killed up to 80 ethnic Kachins, have heightened worries among ASEAN members.
ASEAN's chair, Cambodia, issued a statement on Tuesday saying the group is gravely concerned over the escalating violence. The statement also called for all parties to take concrete action toward an inclusive and constructive dialogue and seek a peaceful solution.
The meeting took place ahead of ASEAN's annual summit on November the 11th to 13th, where a top focus of the leaders will be the Myanmar situation, which has threatened the group's unity. ASEAN members traditionally avoid criticizing each other, and the violence unleashed by Myanmar's military is widely seen as exposing the group's powerlessness in dealing with a geopolitical and humanitarian emergency that could affect all of them.
Now, ASEAN has tried to play a peacemaking role since shortly after the country's military seized power in February last year. It has been seeking to implement a 5-point consensus on Myanmar, where it reached in April last year with little success so far. The agreement calls for the immediate end to violence, a dialogue among concerned parties, mediation by an ASEAN Special Envoy provision of humanitarian aid, and a visit of Myanmar by the Special Envoy to meet all concerned parties.
Myanmar's military government initially agreed to the consensus but has made little effort to implement it, aside from seeking humanitarian aid and allowing ASEAN's special envoy to visit. However, it refused to allow envoy Prak Sokhonn to meet with Suu Kyi, or Aung San Suu Kyi, who was arrested and is being tried on a variety of charges that critics say are made up to keep her out of politics.
The military had previously said that it will not allow outsiders to meet with Suu Kyi while her court cases continue. In response, ASEAN has not allowed Myanmar's leaders to participate in its official meetings, though working-level officials have joined some.
Now, ASEAN members Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore in particular have urged to more pressure to implement the consensus on the junta. Now, we are going for our first quick break, but when we come back, we'll have the latest from Southeast Asia and around the world.
And later during the hour, I'll bring you the latest from the world of business.
Okay, so please stay with us right here on the 3-Hour News Show, only on C Today.
Snake specialist Nirut Chomnam has dedicated the last 20 years of his life to the study of these reptiles. Snakes are born survivors, able to endure the toughest conditions, and they've adapted well to a range of habitats across Thailand.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi-misi.
Visioner, bukan visi-misi. Kalau visi-misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi-misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel? Digambar ya lumayan. Tapi lumayan jelek. Ngeselak keluar.
What makes a new place feels like home, I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on C Indonesia.
This is me crying out loud, whatever. Wow, look at this. My shoes, guys.
Dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangnya tuh. Apa tuh? My Dream.
Bisa baca ngalah?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Hey, lady. Happy anniversary.
Good morning. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Hey, hold on. Let me just skip.
People have been taking our jobs today.
Big round of applause.
For making the C Morning Show at the first time, we keep discussing and changing until like a day before on air. I think 5 minutes before on air, we're still changing and like all the clip hasn't ready yet.
Right.
So it's like it's very tension for all of us at the time.
Welcome back to the CR News Show with SNC today. Let's start with the COVID-19 update. The XBB variant has caused a new surge of COVID-19 cases in 24 countries.
As of October the 26th, Indonesia's COVID-19 active cases had risen to 3,048 patients. There were 4 variant cases in Indonesia right now from September to October. According to the CDC, the XBB has mild symptoms such as fever, cough, flu, and fatigue. However, the variant is more contagious.
The weekly positivity rate nationally rose 8.88%. The government is therefore encouraging the public to complete the 3rd vaccine booster to curb the surge of new COVID-19 cases.
WHO menyatakan vaksin yang tersedia masih efektif. Meski berdasarkan studi di Cina, varian XBB ini dapat menghindari antibodi, yang artinya orang yang pernah terinfeksi varian lain sebelumnya dan yang sudah mendapatkan vaksin lengkap tetap beresiko untuk dapat terinfeksi varian baru ini juga. Tetapi ketahuilah bahwa vaksin booster akan melindungi dari resiko penyakit yang parah. Sehingga vaksin masih merupakan hal yang sangat penting untuk menekan gejala yang timbul.
Now, therein lies the priority, the booster shot. Are you afraid of needles, Akir?
No, but if I have another option by avoiding the needle, I should try it for that.
I think everyone would. And here could be an innovation that hopefully will be accessible to more people, because a needle-free vaccination with a sweet twist is now available in Shanghai.
It's in China, yeah? The dose is administered via a cup containing the aerosol of the vaccine, with the recipient taking a deep breath from it before holding his or her breath for around 5 seconds and then slowly exhaling.
The vaccination site of the Tianshan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine welcomed the first citizen to receive the inhaled vaccine on Wednesday. In addition to those who have received 1 dose of CanSino Bio COVID-19 vaccine, there are also citizens who have received 2 doses of vaccines to boost their immunity. Many people choose inhaled vaccines because it is painless.
Sure. And just like the injected vaccines, diet and rest are required on the day of inhaling the vaccination. According to statistics, there are more than 100 Shanghai citizens who have made an appointment to receive the inhaled COVID vaccine on the first day. There are currently 25 inhalable COVID vaccination points open in the city and at least 1 in each district. Move on to Iran. Iran's foreign minister said his country has sanctioned 8 European Union bodies and 12 individuals for supporting what he called terrorism, violence, and extremism during ongoing protests in Iran.
Hossein Amir Abdollahian made the remarks Wednesday during a joint press conference with his visiting Belarusian counterpart Vladimir Markey in Tehran.
The EU on Thursday imposed sanctions on Shahed Aviation Industries in Iran and 3 Iranian armed forces generals for undermining Ukraine's territorial integrity by helping to supply drones to Russia to use in the war against its neighbor. Ukraine's vastly reinforced air defenses are making it difficult for Russian warplanes to operate, and killer drones are a cheap weapon that can seek out and destroy targets while spreading fear among troops and civilians.
Russia is accused of sending waves of Iranian-made Shahed drones over Ukraine to strike power plants and other key infrastructure. And in response, the EU imposed an asset freeze on the company, as well as an asset freeze and travel ban on the 3 officers who are also suspected of links to Iran drone program. Iran has denied its drones are being used by Russia against Ukraine.
ما در پاسخ به اقدام غیرسازنده اتحادیه اروپا امروز لیست جدیدی از تحریم‌های وزارت خارجه جمهوری اسلامی ایران علیه 8 نهاد و 12 شخص در چارچوب اتحادیه اروپا رو منتشر کردیم. این 8 نهاد و 12 شخص در وقایع اخیری که در جمهوری اسلامی ایران رخ داد اقدام به حمایت و تشویق ترور، افراطگرایی و خشونت کرده بودند. در همین جا مایلم به اتحادیه اروپا توجه و هشدار بدهم که مسیر غیرسازنده، تکراری و شکست خورده سالهای قبل رو ادامه ندهند. برای ما کاملا روشن هست که چند کشور معدود و رهبران چند کشور معدود در اتحادیه اروپا نگاه‌های افراطی و شتاب زده نسبت به تحولات منطقه و بین الملل دارند.
Hundreds of villagers clashed with security forces near the Poboya mine in Palu Central, Sulawesi yesterday.
Now, protesters had previously blocked access to the mine before the clash.
So the clash broke out at 5 p.m. local time, with villagers throwing rocks at officials after they fired tear gas to end the blockade.
Authorities said that the blockade may have been triggered by demand for mining rights. In September, villagers also held a protest with a similar demand. It also ended in violence, with several equipment burned and one worker wounded.
And the following clash, police had seized several Molotov cocktails from the protesters.
Now, officials have blamed the incident on provocations from outside parties. Personnel from the Mobile Brigade and Sabara Corps are now standing by at several locations, including the offices of PT Citra Palu, which was involved in the dispute.
Kita membuka palang, namun terjadilah perlawanan dari mereka, langsung mereka melakukan pelemparan batu kepada kami. Kami juga dengan peralatan PHH dan sebagainya berupaya untuk bertahan. Waktu berjalan, bom molotov pun mereka lemparkan kepada kami. Ini buktinya nih. Ya. Nah, dengan proses terjadinya peristiwa tersebut, saya selaku Kapolres Palu juga memerintahkan kepada pemegang pemegang gas air mata untuk ditembakkan kepada mereka-mereka yang melakukan perlawanan, yang melakukan pelemparan-pelemparan, termasuk yang melempar dengan bom molotov.
We are going for another break.
Yes, and after the break, Aubrey will be back to deliver some economics and business updates. Aubrey, what you got for us this hour?
Yes, Kai. After the break, we will have discussion about retail business in the middle of the recession issue next year. So stay here, only on 3 Hour News on See Today.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Hi, my name's Mustafa Ahmad. I come from Australia. Welcome to my home.
I like the Indonesian people, cultural differences.
We're married from the different culture that you have to learn from each other, and what is good that we have to keep it, and what's not good that we have to put away.
Marriage is an adventure. Whatever the nationality, just go for it. Get mixed.
Maybe you want to finish off the...
No, I'm good.
Oh, this looks great. Super fast, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose Sukacita as the name of your brand?
Actually, I found that true, lasting happiness happens when you can contribute and work for something bigger.
It is a challenge. Right. Good job.
Really?
All right. Yes, it's right. Okay.
We'll visit massive factories and master craftsmen. We'll experience unique ways in which things are made and even test some of them out. Rock and roll! Needless to say, this will be pretty epic. Oh, wow. I'm Justin Bratton. Join me as I uncover some of the best, the most colorful, and the most innovative bespoke products on the market today.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This Paradise Island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
we're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. See the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia!
Welcome back to the 3-Hour News on See Today. Many retailers are feeling overwhelmed by the uncertainty surrounding today's economy. Although the National Retail Federation expects the retail sector to grow, consumers are starting to tighten their wallets. Inflation and the lingering effect of the pandemic have left retailers across categories pondering how to prepare for the future. Retailers who had enjoyed success in the 1990s and early 2000s have been slow to move online. And economists are growing concerned about the possibility of countries falling into recession in the next 12 months. And what about the retail sector? Will it also struggle under a possible recession or survive instead? And we'll have a discussion with the CEO of Matahari, one of the most popular fashion department store in Indonesia, Connor. Hi, Terry. How are you?
Great, Aubrey. Nice to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here on our studio and See Today. And it is interesting to actually see the CEO of a major Indonesian retailer is a foreigner. Could you tell us how actually you ended up to this position?
Well, I think a lot of executives in retail are international by nature. We have to travel across borders, travel across cultures to really understand what are transferable best practices.
Yeah.
I personally have been in Asia for 30 or so years, based in Singapore, but with business interests in Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and so on. And when Matahari had a vacancy for a CEO, this was too good an opportunity to turn down. I call it a passion project because there's such an emotional connectivity with the Indonesian consumer.
Nice. And also PT Matahari Department Store reported gross sales of 9.5 trillion rupiah for the period ended September 30, 2022. And this achievement increased by 26.5% compared to the same period in 2021. And also your SSSG or same-store sales growth was recorded at 144%. And meanwhile, your earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization year-to-date was recorded at 1.5 trillion rupiah, almost double the year-to-date September 2021 and above the full year 2021. What is actually your strategy for this achievement?
Look, we focus on the basics. It's about really improving our merchandise ranges to full potential, curated around different parts of the Indonesian consumer base.
Yeah.
You know, we're very popular with young mums, with super mums across the family. But it's also about other elements of our blueprint as well. Loyalty and personalization through our reward scheme. It's around omni-channel progress. Network optimization, where we've opened 5 new stores. We'll open another 5 new stores just in the next 2 months, so 10 this year, 12 to 15 next year. So in total, 7 blueprints which are driving different parts of our business, and so far so good. We've got some green shoots.
Okay, but talking about this store, you recently launched House of Specialist concept in Matahari. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, we believe that, you know, we shouldn't buy into a narrative about a legacy department store, you know, that effectively, if you look at Matahari today, Matahari is a collection of specialized areas, right? It is around product, price, experience, and people, and really just taking all of our categories and treating our categories robustly, and acting as if we were a specialist in that we only focused on that one area with that level of attention to detail and rigor, and really therefore becoming a large format, omni-channel, digitally savvy specialist.
I see. And what are your thoughts about the retail business and also its potential in Indonesia, seeing that Matahari is popular among Indonesians with many stores across the country, right?
Yeah, look, I think you know we'll see growth next year of around 5.1% GDP in the economy. We'll look to outstrip that in terms of our own growth, not just through store expansion, but also through you know, underlying same-store sales growth as well, through all of those initiatives I mentioned. You know, I'm reminded of the great Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, who basically said, everybody tells me there's a recession on, but we choose not to participate. So we're in it for the long haul. There's 72 million new consumers coming into the middle class between now and 2030. It's a really exciting market.
Okay, but talking about the recession, and what are your thoughts about the projected recession in 2023?
Look, I think Europe, US is going to go through a tough time. I think certain parts of North Asia may go through a tough time, but Indonesia is a burgeoning domestic market. It's got its commodity strength. It's got its sheer size and scale of consumer behavior. I think when we come into the early part of next year, the gap between wages and inflation will start to sort of partly correct. We're already starting to see gas prices fall, cotton prices fall. And so, you know, if you look at next year, I think there's room for optimism and hope and deliverability. We just got to get through the short-term inflationary pressures.
Okay, but what are your efforts to keep the retail business afloat as the recession nears?
I've always found, you know, any difficult economic times to be an opportunity for people with the right spirit and the right attitude. We've got amazing talent. We've got amazing people. We have to keep our costs low, but at the same time invest in technology and talent. We have to keep our margins stable, but at the same time offer consumers great prices. And we have to make sure that we're visible in the market so that, you know, when everybody else is maybe taking a cautious stance, Matahari is top of mind as the pride of Indonesia.
Yeah, but talking about the pandemic era, and you also have like the online store, right? The Matahari online. And do you think like nowadays, like people actually shifting from the offline again to from the online? Because, you know, we are shifting also, now we're going to the shopping mall and we're also going out. So what's actually in the Matahari online?
We're kind of channel agnostic. You know, we've got Matahari.com, which has got 39,000 options for consumers. We've got an official Matahari store on Tokopedia, on Shopee, on Lazada. We've got our own Shop and Talk social commerce channel. And of course, every time malls have reopened during the pandemic, consumers have rushed back to those malls for an experience, whereas when they're time-starved, they might shop one of our other channels. And so we believe that by basically making sure that we have a consistent customer experience across all, that as consumers grow more comfortable with digital, Matahari will benefit too.
But how's your projection on the upcoming recession with the online store that you have?
I think if you look at the digital players themselves are under a little bit of pressure because they've got high borrowing, and in a higher interest rate environment, that's a challenge, and you can start to see that in rising commissions and so on. Whereas if you look at our business, we've got such scale and relationships with developers. We've got good variable costs within our stores, and of course, all of our operating costs are covered by our store base, which means that the digital business is incremental to us, and that's growing. It's growing 32% this year, so we're happy with both channels.
Okay, and maybe for the last question, could you share us some advice or some tips for retail entrepreneurs?
Look, I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur myself. My son is an entrepreneur. I think the key elements are really decide on what problem point are you trying to solve for. Select your customer base with laser-like precision. Make sure that you are focused on your product and that product is the best that you can be in terms of market leadership. And so pick your spot. I prefer specialist than generalist, as you've already heard. Keep your operating costs low and don't pay yourself too much in the early days. The rewards will come later.
Okay, thank you so much, Terry O'Connor, for being with us today in our See Today studio and sharing so many insight and also tips, and wish you success in your near future projects. Thank you so much once again.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. And those were business and economic updates for this hour. When we return, Ahir will bring you again the latest from the world of sports.
What makes a new place so like home? I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on See Indonesia.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Palelli.
Let's say hello to Bebo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Palelli. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing.
I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. That's the only word I know.
Snake specialist Nirut Chamnan has dedicated the last 20 years of his life to the study of these reptiles. Snakes are born survivors, able to endure the toughest conditions, and they've adapted well to a range of habitats across Thailand.
My shoes, guys.
Dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh. Apa tuh? My Dream.
Oke, bisa baca ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel. Digambar ya lumayan. Tapi lumayan jelek.
Hey, ladies. Happy anniversary.
Good morning. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Hey, hold on. Let me just skip.
People have been taking our jobs today.
Big round of applause.
For making the C Morning Show at the first time, we keep discussing and changing until like a day before on air. I think 5 minutes before on air, we're still changing and like all the clip hasn't ready yet.
Right.
So it's like it's very tension for all of us at the time.
Hello there, and welcome back again to our 3-hour news show. And it's time for See Today Sport, and you're still with me, Muhammad Ahir, and our story still from badminton, Indonesian mixed double. Here, Rinov Rivaldi and Pita Haningtyas have advanced to the last 16 of the 2022 French Open after they beat Kim Won-hoo and Jeong Na-eun of South Korea earlier today. So the Indonesian pair won in straight sets 21-15 and 21-13 in the 33-minute duel held at the Stade Pierre de Coubertin in Paris. Overall, they were constantly more dominant, even though Kim and Jeong upped the offensive in the second set. Rivaldi and Haningtyas will face another South Korean duo, namely Seo Young-jae and Chae Yong-jung in the next round. And one of the latest match come from the men's single from Indonesia. Jonathan Christie had just won the game with 21-19 and 21-14 versus Hans Christian Solberg Vittingus from Denmark. So let's move on to the next story. Brazil's Atlético Paranense arrived this Wednesday in Guayaquil, Ecuador, ahead of the Copa Libertadores final against rivals and fellow Brazilian club Flamengo. The 2021 Copa Sudamericana winner wants to crown the work of veteran head coach Luis Felipe Scolari, who could be doing his last dance at the final after announcing he will no longer be a manager. However, the southern Brazil powerhouse wants to extend Scolari's time as a manager, hoping he will lead the team at the FIFA Club World Cup next year. Still on football, where the continent's rising stars are set for exciting tussles following the completion of the AFC Under-20 Asian Cup Uzbekistan 2023 draw on Wednesday.
Thank you, Jean-Juan.
So here's in that 16 teams were divided into 4 groups, with the top 2 from each group to advance to the quarterfinals. Hosts Uzbekistan were placed in Group A together with our Indonesian team, Indonesia, Iraq, and Syria. Group B is made up of Qatar, Australia, Vietnam, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Meanwhile, the Korean Republic, Tajikistan, Jordan, and Oman are in Group C, and Group D features defending champions Saudi Arabia, Japan, China, and Kyrgyzstan Republic drawn together. The tournament will be held in the cities of Tashkent and Fergana from March the 1st to the 18th of 2023.
Youth competition Uzbekistan have not won yet. Runner-up in 2019 in Asia.
Now it's time for basket. The IBL Indonesia Cup 2022 will be held next month in Solo, Central Java province, and will feature a different concept. The players are very excited and have been waiting for this event to prove the result of their trainings for months.
Dalam kesempatan hari ini, IBL akan dibantu oleh 3 legend basket Indonesia.
On Wednesday, the Indonesian Basketball League, or IBL, held a drawing for the IBL Indonesia Cup 2022 in Senopati area, South Jakarta. 15 teams will compete in the tournament. They are divided into 4 groups, with 3 groups consist of 4 teams, while 1 group consists of 3 teams. The 2 best teams from each group will continue to the next round. Held as a showcase of the quality of local players, this event will show a different concept to entertain basketball fans in the capital city.
Konsep ini agak berbeda di mana nanti kita akan melibatkan warga atau masyarakat pecinta bola basket di kota setempat, seperti dari sekolah-sekolah akan ada kompetisi dance, akan ada kompetisi cheerleaders, ada kompetisi skill challenge bola basket, ada kompetisi 3-point shoot bola basket untuk anak-anak level SMA.
The top 4 IBL teams are planning to compete in the ASEAN and Asian levels in the near future. Players also feel excited for this upcoming event.
Saya sebagai pemain sangat excited sekali untuk kompetisi ini karena ini penantian kita ya setelah pandemi gitu, bertanding lagi di satu kota, ditonton sama fans gitu banyak. Mungkin ini juga penantian buat semua pemain juga, pemain-pemain IBL yang udah berlatih berbulan-bulan, dan ini mungkin di kompetisi Indonesia Cup ini ya ini mau pembuktian mereka untuk selama hasil latihan.
The upcoming Indonesia Cup 2022 will be held from November 4th to the 13th at Sritex Arena in Solo, Central Java. Nugrahanto Margo, Ferry Ahmad for See Today.
And still from basketball, Van Mobley scored a season-high 22 points, while Jared Allen had 18 points and 16 rebounds to help the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Orlando Magic 10-3 and versus 92 on Wednesday. Donovan Mitchell also added 14 points and 8 assists for Cleveland, which has won 3 in a row after dropping its opener at Toronto. All-Star Center Island is averaging 13 points, 5 points, and 11 points, and also 5 rebounds with 3 double-doubles. Top overall draft pick Paulo Banchero had 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists for Orlando, extending his streak of 20-plus point games to begin his career to 5. All-Star point guard Darius Garland, who missed his 3rd consecutive game with a left eye laceration, took part in Cleveland's morning shoot-around. It was his first on-court activity since being poked in the eye by Toronto's Gary Trent Jr. on October the 19th.
Chance for 3. That's exact 10 and counting. Mitchell.
And still from the current NBA season, where Bam Adebayo scored 18 points as the Miami Heat ended the season-opening winning streak of host Portland Trail Blazers 119-98. So it was Damian Lillard had 22 points for Portland when he came up limping with just over 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter and headed straight for the locker room. He did not return, and the Blazers said he had a right calf strain. Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler each had 17 points for the Heat, and the Trail Blazers were the last remaining undefeated team in the Western Conference.
Is about to join the Summers. They always got something going on there.
So that's a wrap for sports for today. But before I go, I would like to resume a bit about the tournament from the French Open. We will wait for the Rinov Rivaldi and Pita as well for today. And also Muhammad Sohaibul Fikri, Bagas Maulana, and also Cesar Hiren Rustavito, who just defeated Li Zia from Malaysia as yesterday tournament happened. So that's the information from C3 Sport for today. When we return, we will have more information, including our signature segment, See the Stories. So please keep it here on the 3-Hour News Show, only on C Today.
Maybe you want to finish off the...
No, I'm good.
This looks great. Super fast, right?
Yes. Why did you choose Sukacita as the name of your brand?
Actually, I found that true, lasting happiness happens when you can contribute and work for something bigger.
It is a challenge. Right. Right. Good job.
Really?
All right. Yes, it's right. Okay.
Hi, my name's Mustafa Ahmad. I come from Australia. Welcome to my home. I like the Indonesian people, cultural differences.
We're married from the different culture that you have to learn from each other, and what is good that we have to keep it, and what's not good that we have to put away.
Marriage is an adventure. Whatever the nationality, just go for it. Get mixed.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
We'll visit massive factories and master craftsmen. We'll experience unique ways in which things are made and even test some of them out. Rock and roll! Needless to say, this will be pretty epic. Oh, wow. I'm Justin Bratton. Join me as I uncover some of the best, the most colorful, and the most innovative bespoke products on the market today.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This Paradise Island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
We're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
And welcome back to our new show on See Today. It is our final hour. So for the next hour, we'll bring you the latest stories in our See the Stories segment. And you're still with me, Kai Soria.
Yes, my name is Muhammad Ahir. For the latest updates, you can still also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at See Today News. And also with us is...
I'm Aubrey Bear. Yes, Ahir. But before anything else, let's see what make the headlines for today.
The ASEAN foreign ministers meet in Jakarta to discuss the Myanmar crisis.
The second G20 Health Ministers meeting is underway in Bali as the last event before the November summit.
Indonesian mixed double pair Rinov Rivaldi and Pita Haningtyas advanced to the last 16 of the 2020 Open with a victory over Kim Won-ho and Jong Na-eun of South Korea.
And in just a moment in our See the Story segment, we'll talk to an expert about a diet plan for people with gastritis. Stay tuned with us on our new show on See Today.
Hi, hello there, welcome back to the 3-hour news show. It's time for our signature segment, See the Story. So I have a question for my colleague here. So have you ever tried dieting? And if so, what kind of diet did you choose? You go first, Kai.
High protein, low carb.
I think it's everyone here in Indonesia. Yeah.
No, everyone in Indonesia is high carb, low protein. That's the other way in Indonesia. That's the daily diet.
Daily
right.
diet. But I've actually tried diet, but I don't know actually the name. But I went to the nutritionist and they teach me to calculate the carbs, the number of sugar. But it's so complicated. I cannot handle it, so I stopped.
But you look great.
Yeah. After how long you stopped the program?
I think maybe for 2 weeks, so 1 week, 1.5 weeks. But yeah, it's so complicated to actually calculate all of the things that you eat, right? So yeah, I think
Right. For me, maybe it's the way, one of the quite famous way right now, the intermittent fasting could be categorized as one of a diet program, maybe.
Yes, it's a lifestyle, that's for sure. Yeah. I've heard about it. How's it working?
Yeah, I feel better, but I don't know. Maybe we should ask to the expert for this, because sometimes we just bring by our own rules without taking advice from some expert for doing that.
That is also true.
Yes, and for those suffering from gastric issues, actually dieting might seem out of the questions. However, there is a safe diet plan for these people called the gastritis diet.
For most people, gastritis is a minor annoyance that will quickly pass by after treatment. However, there are some forms of gastritis that can produce ulcers or raise the risk of cancer. Diet is an important player in the digestive and overall health, so following a gastritis-friendly diet can go a long way towards relieving the symptoms. So Ahir, I think I really have to take notes on this one because my husband has gastritis, and I think people always mistake a diet for losing weight, but diet is actually your daily eating habits, basically, right? So this is about a specific eating habits suitable for those with gastritis, right?
Right. Yeah. And for that purpose, I think we right now should ask the expert for this and to see what food is suitable for gastritis person. We are now connected with clinical nutritionist Dr. Christina Joy. So good evening, Dr. Christina.
Hi, Doc.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for your time, joining with us here on 3 Hour News Show on our special segment, City Stories. So I think, Kai, since you've mentioned that your husband is dealing with this problem, maybe you go first with the question.
Oh, okay. So my husband has gastritis and quite a severe one. So what is the appropriate diet or eating habit for people with gastric problems?
Okay, first before we treat someone, we have to know what is the exact cause, because actually gastritis can be caused by so many things. Maybe we know that obesity is one of the factors that causes heartburn and gastritis. It can also be caused by bad diet, unhealthy lifestyle, medications, certain hormones, and also some specific diseases. So before we want to treat the symptoms, it is better to know the exact cause. If it's only because of your poor habit of lifestyle, like for how you compose and that's something that we can change. But if it's caused by hormones or some other diseases, we might need certain medication help with the gastritis.
Right, interesting. I mean, you've mentioned about one of the cause, or maybe the person who will closely get this problem of gastritis, the people with obesity. But you've mentioned that. But I'm wondering right now, how about the people with overthinking?
Oh, that's true. Because our mind and our body and mind, I mean, like physical and emotionally, we are very connected. We cannot separate like only our physical part and emotional part. They're very interrelated, and there are lots of studies studying how one condition from the physical part can cause mental or emotional issues, and the other way around, how emotional could disturb your I keep hearing myself double, so it's hard. Well, emotionally we can get some disturbance, and it can influence like for hypertension or gastritis and other factors as well, other diseases.
Okay,
other symptoms.
Yeah, and as we know that there's a lot of types of several types of diet that actually happening right now in Indonesia, but I wondering what actually the specific diet program that is suitable for the gastric problems person, because I actually also have the gastric problems.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, try to quit smoking or maybe using vape, because it's very common. People still smoke and still use vape, and it causes increase of reflux, from the gastric acid. And then you have to see whether you're consuming certain medications such as aspirin or NSAIDs, because it also aggravates the gastric acid. And then try to avoid lying down directly after you eat, because you have to give time from eating, and then so the food slowly digested by your gastric. And then try to avoid eating large meals or eating late at night, because our enzymes doesn't work. It doesn't mean that our enzymes doesn't work at night, but we need rest, so we have to give like 3 to 4 hours before the last time we eat, and then we go to sleep or lie down. So try not to lie down immediately. And then consuming triggered foods, such as fatty, greasy foods, lots of simple carbs. So foods composed of flour, like bread and donuts or cakes. Those are the foods that could aggravate or trigger your gastritis symptoms. And then when you have the symptoms, try to avoid alcohol, coffee, soda, because sometimes it could also trigger the gastritis.
Coffee, that's hard.
Coffee, that's hard. But I find it very interesting because apart from the things that we need to pay attention to, are there any specific nutrition, like specific foods that we should increase in the diet for a gastritis person?
Yeah, actually we can try not to drink too much water when we want to eat, because when it actually needs the gastric acid to function properly. The gastric acid actually helps you to digest protein and also to absorb vitamin B12. So we need the gastric acid, and when we drink too much, we're diluting the acid, and it's not really good. So if you want to drink much, try not to eat it. Try not to drink between meals, like 30 minutes before or after. Try to hydrate yourself outside of meal times. For example, like 1 hour before or after meals. And then we can try to chew slowly, because chewing slowly allows your food to be digested properly with the enzymes in your mouth and your stomach. And we can try fermented veggies, because they contain lots of probiotics that is good for your health. And try to eat protein at the beginning of the meal. So after you eat your veggies, slowly, chewing it slowly, and then try to eat protein. And then carbs is for the last.
Interesting. That's a Chinese way of eating. Yes.
Yeah, in Chinese restaurants usually get
chewing slowly.
Carbs.
No. Carbs last. The
Carb
rice always comes after the veggies, the meats, and then the rice comes very last, separated. Interesting.
Yeah, fried rice is always the last.
Less water during meals and rice at last.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm noting that one. That's very important.
Your largest meal when you're most relaxed. So try not to eat like in a hurry, or when you're very busy or you're in stress mode. Try to eat light during those times, and you can eat your largest meal, especially in the day, and try to reduce it during dinner, not too heavy on dinner.
Right. So, doctor, let's right now I'm wondering. Let's take like a play role. Let's take a study case in a day by applying the food that people need to consume and avoid during the day, and doing a gastric diet. So could you please give the study case for us? Like when we wake up in the morning, what should we do in terms of a gastric diet? And then at the lunchtime until dinner, what should we do? By doing the consuming or the do's and don'ts foods that we should do.
Well, you should chew well. You should sit straight while you're eating. Maybe when you take a walk, you can take a walk after eating. Managing stress is important. Quit smoking and cut alcohol. Exercise moderately, not too hard. Never eat during bedtime. So the last time you can eat is probably after 7 p.m. and eat less for dinner. Try to use loose those clothes, because if you compress it too much, it might increase your gastric acid also. And also if you're obese, try to lose weight, because obesity actually increases the pressure. So the pressure from your abdomen actually pushes the gastric acid upwards.
Okay, Doc. But some people say that a gastric diet can help those recovering from a gastric bypass surgery. Is that true? And can you maybe elaborate more on this?
Oh yeah, that's very true. Why? Because gastric bypass surgery, you usually cut or tie a part of your gaster. So that means your gastric acid production will be less. That's why we have to eat and chew slowly, frequently, but little by little. So it helps with the absorption of the food also.
You know, doctor, apart from the what to do during recovery for gastric bypass surgery, are there any supplements and vitamins required for people who have gastritis in their diet, in addition perhaps to help soothe the symptoms that they usually go through?
We can take aloe vera juice, or aloe vera gel, or aloe vera capsules, because they're like the natural supplements to help improve your lining of the stomach.
Okay.
So if the stomach has like small injuries, it helps with the lining, the inner part of the stomach. And then we can also try probiotics. There are several specific probiotics for the stomach, which is acidophilus. It helps with the regulation of the gastric acid. And then you can also take vitamin B12, because usually when you have problems with gastritis, there's also a problem of absorption of vitamin B12, because B12 needed to be absorbed using the gastric tube. So usually there are people who have experienced gastritis for long term, for years. They could get anemia from the reduced vitamin B12 absorbed from your daily food.
Oh, interesting. Oh, probiotics. You mentioned before, just a follow-up question because I'm noting this. You mentioned before fermented veggies. Is that kimchi and sauerkraut?
Yes, also tempeh. Tempeh is also good.
Tempeh. Kombucha. Okay.
Yeah, but try not
Aloe
to
vera
add it
juice,
too
that's a new
much.
one for me.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, because added oil, refined oil, is not good. It's not good for anything.
Right. So, Doctor, since you've mentioned tempeh, kombucha, kimchi, so could you please tell us some food that people need to consume and avoid during a gastric diet? Like,
So, yeah, maybe you all have heard that spicy and hot foods trigger problems like heartburn and gastritis, so try to avoid spicy and hot foods. However, ginger is used to help with the heartburn or with the gastritis, but try to incorporate ginger like the smallest amount, little by little, because not everyone can tolerate ginger. Please do not eat boiled or unwashed foods, because they contain bacteria. It can cause food poisoning also, of course. And then be careful with dairy products, because sometimes dairy products like meat, milk, cheese, certain cream products. Greek yogurt might be okay because they have the probiotics and they don't have too much lactose. But if you want to try Greek yogurt, try it little by little.
Okay.
And certain acidic foods, of course, like oranges, grapefruit, or citrus fruits, tomatoes, lemons, it could cause discomfort and irritate your stomach lining. So some blend options like apples or bananas or papaya is actually good, safer option. Try not to drink alcohol, because alcohol increases your gastric acid by loosening the sphincter in your esophagus. So try to drink water. Yeah.
Okay, and one last question, Doc. It's actually a personal question. Sorry, guys. Because I have a gastric problems and also breastfeeding mom. So, is it possible to do diet? And what was actually your suggestion for me to do some diet, and also like the tips, perhaps?
Yeah. So I recall that you told me you went to a nutritionist and he or she taught you to calculate all the calories and nutrients from your food. Yeah. Actually, you can use the simple plate. So if you have like a plate, you can divide the plate into half, and then you add half of your plate with vegetables, because actually vegetables contain lots of vitamins and minerals that your body needs, especially when you're lactating.
Yeah.
It has folate, vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin K, every vitamins and minerals. And try to eat like in rainbow, the vegetables you eat in red and yellow, green, white, everything. And then the rest of the half, you can divide it into two. The quarter, you can insert certain complex carbohydrates.
Yeah.
For example, like corn, potatoes, squash, or even rice. You can still eat rice. And then the other quarter, add more proteins, like lean ones without lots of frying. So you can eat grilled chicken or fish, or maybe like steamed. Or in Indonesia, we have pepas. That's also very
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's very simple actually.
simple.
You know?
Yeah. It's helped me a lot. It's visually tips,
Yeah.
Just look at your plates and divide it half first. Put the vegetables with the rainbow arrangement for eating. That's interesting. Put the other quarter for complex hydrocarbon and also the protein.
Yes. Wow.
Perfect.
So usually
that's one of simplest rule, because actually vegetable contains the less calories from every food groups. So when you eat lots of vegetable, you feel full longer. The satiety level is good. You get all the nutrients without feeling hangry. Without feeling hungry. So you get all the nutrients, and then you still have the protein, because as you mentioned before, Indonesians usually eat lots of carbs, but it's very less protein. And that's
It's usually
protein.
Yeah, in Indonesia, it's usually half the plate. That's the rice or the complex carb. And
true.
Yes, and I think that's habit. So I'm taking a note now that you said it. I'm going to like quote this particular part and then send it to my husband. Stop eating so much rice. But doctor, thank you so much for the information. Do stay safe.
You're welcome.
It was certainly interesting. I have so many notes. Thank you, Dr. Joy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Wow, that's a lot to process, a lot of information. What was the most interesting one for you?
That last thing, I mean, I'm a visual person. So when Dr. Joy explained by taking an example of plates, then put it, divide it in half and quarter, it helps me a lot.
Yes, actually, it's very simple, because you know I do not need to like calculate like for the rice how many carbs and how many proteins, and it's like so complicated, right? So but that tips is like so.
It can trigger another gas because you're overthinking of how mathematics you have to calculate.
But it's so great that you know that even with gastritis, a mom and breastfeeding mom can also get enough nutrition, and we just have to know how. And that was such a great informative discussion.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, and we still have information about diet plans when See the Stories return after the break, so don't go anywhere.
Snake specialist Nirut Chomna has dedicated the last 20 years of his life to the study of these reptiles. Snakes are born survivors, able to endure the toughest conditions, and they've adapted well to a range of habitats across Thailand.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Poelli. Let's say hello to Bebo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Poelli. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing.
I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, visi misi, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
Makes a new place feels like home. I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants for me is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on Sea Indonesia.
Hey ladies, happy anniversary.
Good morning, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Hey, hold on, let me just skip.
People have been taking our jobs today.
Big round of applause.
For making the Sea Morning Show at the first time, we keep discussing and changing until like a day before on air. I think 5 minutes before on air, we're still changing and like all the clip hasn't ready yet.
Right.
So it's like it's very tense tension for all of us at the time.
Welcome back to See the Stories. Now we are still talking about diet in the See the Stories segment, and this time it's about the keto diet.
Now, the keto diet is a diet plan with low carbohydrates but high fat consumption. The idea behind high fat consumption is triggering a state of ketosis, where the body will burn fat as a primary energy source. Fat will be converted into ketones in the liver to give the brain some energy. Needless to say, always consult a nutritionist before deciding to go on a keto diet plan.
And arranging diet plans is one attempt to achieve a healthy body, but for various reasons, sticking to a diet plan will sometimes prove difficult.
Yes, while no diet fits everyone, it is best to familiarize yourself with a diet plan before deciding to actually try it.
And for that, we have compiled several diet plans that may be suitable for you. So let's have a look.
Planning a certain diet program has become a popular way to lose weight. Not only that, a diet plan can also have several health benefits. While a diet plan is beneficial, the restrictions and side effects makes it hard for people to follow through the whole diet program. We have compiled some of the diet plan's information for you, from the do's and don'ts, health benefits, and also the side effects. A paleo diet is a dietary plan dated back to prehistoric time before agriculture was developed, bringing a theory that most modern disease can be linked to the consumption of grains, dairy, and processed foods. This diet emphasizes on consumption of whole foods, lean protein, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds, while discouraging consumption of processed foods, sugar, dairy, and grains. Several studies have shown that the paleo diet can lead to significant weight loss and reduce waist size. The diet also seems to be effective in reducing cholesterol, blood sugar, and risk of heart disease. However, the diet makes people prone to deficiencies of calcium and vitamin D, which are critical to bone health. Vegan diet restricts all animal products for ethical, environmental, and health reasons. It is the strictest form of vegetarianism, and it doesn't only eliminate meat, it also eliminates dairy, eggs, and other animal-derived products. A vegan diet seems to be very effective in helping people lose weight, and it is consistently linked to the lower body weight and body mass index compared to other diets, mainly due to its low intake of calories. Plant-based diets are said to help reduce risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, and the limited intake of processed meat may also reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, and even cancer. While it has many benefits, vegan diet might cause deficiency of key nutrients that are not found readily in plants, such as calcium, iron, and omega-3. The ketogenic, also known as keto diet, is one of the low-carb and urge people to consume less carbs. The diet reduces carbs intake and replaces it with fat. The carbs reduction will put the body into a metabolic state called ketosis, where the fat will be burned as energy, while the fat in the liver will be turned into ketones, which are used to supply energy for the brain. Keto diet has many health benefits such as increase of ketones and significant decrease on blood sugar and insulin levels, but it can also cause nutrition deficiencies due to the limited range of food consumed.
Now, if we scroll through our social media, we'll see many contents on diet and working out.
But when it comes to maintaining a healthy lifestyle, which one is more important? So we will optimal healthy if we only focus on either diet or workout. Now, the answer is in the next video.
One of my New Year resolutions is to maintain a healthier lifestyle. But here's the thing, I really like to eat. And when I say I like to eat everything. So I figured out that I might just eat anything that I want, as much as I want, and then I'm gonna work out real hard. So you know, I can still maintain that healthier lifestyle. Don't you think?
We can't deny the fact that nutrition and dietary intake are important in providing the human body with the fuel it needs. It's generally easier to manage the calorie intake by modifying the diet than it is to burn significantly more calories through exercise. This may be the reason why the 80-20 rule became popular. A method that states that weight loss is the result of 80% diet and 20% exercise. But exercise has its own benefit for your health. A study led by a pediatrician at the Mobile Country, Alabama Health Department, Julie Waldrop, shows that 150 minutes of moderate physical activities at least twice a week can reduce blood pressure and cholesterol. Regular exercise can also reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome, even decrease the risk of depression.
You know what, Rebecca? You can do this. You can burn those fats and calories from fried bananas and chips that you ate yesterday. Yes, you can do this. I hope it's worth it though.
But if it's too tiring or if I don't want to do this anymore, I think I might just limit what I eat, you know, like having one meal a day or just eat vegetables. I think that will be easier, don't you think?
We heard the saying, you are what you eat. Means what you consume plays an important role in maintaining your health. Ever try to satisfy your hunger with a candy bar instead of a banana, only to be hungry again after a short time later? So you can start with your own plate. Eat more vegetables by filling half of your plate with non-starchy vegetables, 1/4 with lean protein, and another 1/4 with whole grains. Study shows that diet programs that include it with exercise and the right guidance show the best results in improving health condition. The answer lies somewhere in between for us to reach the optimal health.
Maintaining a healthier lifestyle, I learned that I cannot only focus on one thing. Yes, exercising is very important because our body needs to move. But what I put inside my body is important as well. The carbs, nutrition, protein that our body needs. Because at the end of the day, it's all about balancing. Dewi Kanabitupulu, Dipta Diwiguna, First Two Today.
And next, fast food chains these days are dominated by less than healthy options. Here in Indonesia, however, there is a myriad of traditional food with a wide range of flavors that are in fact much healthier than fast food. And here are some of them.
We begin from gado-gado. Not only it is healthy, but it's also a budget-friendly meal that you can eat at any time. Gado-gado is made of a mixture of boiled long beans, spinach, potatoes, eggs, cucumber, bean sprouts, and fried tofu, drizzled with a sweet and spicy peanut sauce. The vegetable contains vitamin, mineral, and also rich in antioxidants and dietary fiber to maintain one's healthy eating habit and body. Next is Indonesian noodle soup or soto. This culinary is so popular and available in every corner across the country. Usually, the recipe consists of broth, meat, and vegetables. In addition, spice and vegetables in soto are rich in antioxidants, vitamin C, and E. There is also calcium which can improve blood circulations and is good for the digestive system. And last but not least is karedok. Originating from Java, this food is rich in nutrients and vegetables. The recipe includes cabbage, peanuts, bean sprouts, and cucumber, dosed with a savory peanut sauce. At a glance, karedok might look similar to gado-gado. The only difference is that karedok usually uses raw vegetables, while most ingredients in gado-gado are boiled or cooked. So, as you know now, karedok has pure vitamins and nutrition.
And see, the stories will continue after the break and will feature some news from the Philippines, where photos of students wearing anti-cheating hats have gone viral. I hope you've seen those. We'll talk about it later, so make sure to stay tuned with us on our new show and see you today.
Kulit itu untuk jadi jaket paling butuh 1 ekor atau 2 ekor domba. Ternyata setelah saya terjun di industri ini, saya baru tahu bahwa untuk membuat sebuah jaket kulit saja itu setidaknya membutuhkan sampai 4 ekor domba.
Lakukan aja yang bisa kita lakukan, hal sekecil apapun gitu yang bisa kita lakukan, ya lakukan saja gitu. Jangan sampai harus nunggu dulu, tapi lakukan aja hal sekecil apapun gitu.
Hi, my name's Mustafa Ahmad. I come from Australia. Welcome to my home.
I like the Indonesian people.
Cultural differences.
We're married from the different culture that you have to learn from each other, and what is good that we have to keep it, and what's not good that we have to put away.
Marriage is an adventure. Whatever the nationality, just go for it. Get mixed.
Maybe you want to finish off the...
No, I'm good.
Oh, this looks great. Super fast, right?
Yes. Why did you choose Sukacita as the name of your brand?
Actually, I found that true lasting happiness happens when you can contribute and work for something bigger.
It is a challenge. Right. Good job.
Really?
All right, yes, it's right. Okay.
We'll visit massive factories and master craftsmen. We'll experience unique ways in which things are made and even test some of them out. Rock and roll! Needless to say, this will be pretty epic. Oh, wow. I'm Justin Bratton. Join me as I uncover some of the best, the most colorful, and the most innovative bespoke products on the market today.
Longing for a short getaway where you can be away from people but still be productive?
You can! Come down here at Bidadari Island where you can learn a thing or two about the history.
This Paradise Island is more than just white sands and Tuscan blue waters.
You're not an outdoorsy type? Well, so am I. Don't be dismissive of the idea because
We're gonna get in touch with nature and hopefully have fun while at it. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Now, welcome back to See the Stories, the signature segment of 3-Hour News Show. Let's be honest for a moment. Have either of you ever cheated in an exam before?
No. This is the honest answer because...
Please be honest,
yeah. I'm doing my honesty right now because I would rather to get bad marks after rather than just cheating, like try to see other people's job at a time, because in my principle that it could be not the right things that they're doing as well. Yeah. It's like a double minus for me if you try to cheat by seeing other people's job and then what
they get it wrong.
They get it wrong.
What about you, Arvi? Yeah. Or are you the one who people ask for answers?
Yeah, it's actually true.
we can see now he's the best one for the researching something. Right?
I don't like to be, you know, like when I try to like answering my question or my exam, I don't like to be like, you know, Arvi, please, can you number one? No, I keep like please silent first. I try to like answer it all the question first, and then after I finish, I take a picture and I send it to the group. So
wow, you're very nice.
Generous.
There's one who has tremendous integrity right here to my right, and then the answer bank that is Aubrey.
But you know, I had one fun experience, but it's related to my friends when it was in college. I always saw him brought a handkerchief. Like he always got flu every time of the examination. Then at what semester I forgot that, and then he got caught up from our lecturer because behind that handkerchief actually he put all the answers.
Yes. But how can you ever have all the answers anyway?
Yes, that's true.
It's not like you have access to the exam questions, do you?
But how about you? I'm curious about you.
No, I'm more like Akir because I think there was one time that I cheated and the person that I asked the answer to got it totally wrong. I was so traumatized because it was such a waste of time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd rather do it myself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, yes, integrity is very important.
Yes, true. Okay, and in this next video, we'll take a look at some hilarious anti-cheating hats worn by students in the Philippines during midterms.
Well, they're not all hats, as you can see.
They're being so creative for that.
I know. These engineering students were taking their exams at Bicol University in Legazpi City, Albay Province in the Philippines on October the 17th. Now, some of the creations were seemingly thrown together at the last minute because, like one student wearing a bunch of egg cartons tied randomly in place. I think there was even, oh look, there's a Jollibee.
Yeah, it's creative, right?
Like,
or just a helmet.
yes, helmet. Like everything that come up in your mind, just put it on your head.
Yeah.
So according to Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Mary Joy Mandain Ortiz, the professor of the university, said that the idea has been really effective. It was applied during the recent midterm exams taken by hundreds of students at the college in the 3rd week of October. So it just happened this month. Then the proud lecturer said she was happy that her students were so open to the gimmick. Oh, they should come here then doing the gimmick on the silly stories, yeah? Adding that nobody was caught cheating during the test. Maybe they had some fun.
Yeah.
Then they did their integrity better.
So it's like us coming to the 3-hour news show and just asking Aubrey for what did you research? Like just give me your research.
That's the legacy from being Aubrey when she was in every level of her school, yeah? And talking about still anti-cheating hat, and this anti-cheating measure has drawn various reactions on the internet. Yes, let's check it because our producer has chosen some of it from Indonesia. It is said that boro-boro nyontek soalnya aja nggak kebaca. It means that in English, she thought that it won't be possible for doing cheating to the other right or left side of her because maybe of the helmet, but the helmet or the hat is so weird until they couldn't read the answer, the question actually.
So they can't even read the question. How are you going to even see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I get it.
Okay.
Well, I have, let's see the next one. It's from Rona_Ang. Padahal contekannya udah ditulis, ditempel di dalam situ. Who said that the answers are actually secretly written inside the hats. If you're wearing a helmet, that's totally possible, especially if it's like a black one.
Right. So the professor should check the inside the helmet actually. Yeah? Before she said that, she proudly think that the program or the project is successful because it provides or it avoid of being cheated to each other.
Well, she did say that they got better marks, perhaps because they get to cheat.
Okay, and maybe we can see the next comment. Nyontek kagak, pegel iya.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, so it's actually, she was not able to pick the other's answer and was left with a sore neck. Because maybe it's a heavy or something like that? I don't know.
Maybe it's being too creative for the hat.
Yeah. No, but it's also because you can only focus, right, on your paper, which means you can only look this way. And
it's
imagine
also
if you look this way.
Big, right? So if you are moving too much, then your teachers will notice, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, as it turns out, one school in Indonesia also used a similar anti-cheating method a few years back. Let's take a look.
In 2015, a teacher at an Islamic school in Kudus, Central Java, told students to wear caps with a piece of paper attached to them to cover their face and stop them from cheating. Through this method, students were only able to direct their sight at their own test paper.
I can see neck pain there. Yes, I can see where neck pain comes from.
And guys, speaking of cheating, I'd like to talk about this Thai movie called Bad Genius, and it's about a group of high school students who cheated during a test together.
It's a group criminal.
Yeah.
So the 2017 movie tells the story of Lin, a high school genius who makes money by cheating during tests. She then receives a new task that leads her to Sydney, Australia. To complete the millions baht task, Lin and her classmates will have to finish the international exam and deliver the answers back to her friends in Thailand before the exam takes place once again in her home country. So the movie is directed by Bas Pun Piria and star Chutimon Chung Charon Sukin, Isaya Hoswan, Tira Don Supapun Pino, and many more.
I want to tell you something.
What?
Those circles that you have to color with 2B pencils is giving me anxieties. Because remember the time in school where you can actually fail and get no marks just because you didn't do it right.
But they have like a special rule, right? To actually help you to fill in the mark.
I don't know. Some people
Aubrey used that.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me. It doesn't help me.
Right.
So I don't know. You use the ruler?
Yeah, easier. You know, like you just put like the ruler and then you fill in the marks, right? So it's make you
use a special one.
No.
Oh.
No. At that era, I think it has been invented yet for my era. And you know, back to the story of the funny one from Philippines. Actually, Professor Mandan Ortiz said, according to BBC.com, she was inspired by a technique reportedly used in Thailand some years previously. So maybe the professor watched the movie.
Oh, perhaps. Perhaps. But hey, the movie involved shoes.
Right.
That's a different one. But we'll be back on the last segment of the show. You don't want to miss that one. Stay tuned with us on the 3R News Show and see you today.
What makes a new place feels like home, I always believe it's about the people and the community. I love the tomato sauce. This is what I always say, the dish of signature. And food often the best way to connect them all. Ooh, this one really good.
Restaurants, for me, is the beating heart of a city. That is why I love exploring new places. Follow me while I'm visiting the most exciting eating places around cities only on Sea Indonesia.
Hey buddies, welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk with me, Paul Palelli. Let's say hello to Bibo and the Buds. Hey guys! Oh, this is your assistant, Trey.
Hi, my name is Palelli. For us, going like solo right now is like a refreshing. I'm actually not good at acting because I'm too real.
Well, it's time for another Buddy Challenge. It's the only word I know.
Welcome back to Theory of Everything. We will round out some of the biggest or craziest theories that have been circulating around the web and then stuck on your head, such as fan theories that audiences have about movies, shows, comics, or anything really. When the initial trailer for Doctor Strange 2, it was clear Wanda Maximoff held a prominent role in the film, though whether she'd play friend or foe to Benedict Cumberbatch lead remain in question.
This is me crying out loud, whatever. Wow, look at that. My shoes, guys.
Dia MD. MD-nya ada panjangannya tuh. Apa tuh? My Dream.
Oke, bisa baca ngalam?
Bisa.
Coba.
Matur suwun.
Wah, cuma segitu saja.
Siapa sejak dini untuk masa depan. Aras ini sangat visi misi.
Visioner, bukan visi misi. Kalau visi misi, visi foya, misi foya, visi misi, foya, foya. Oh, digambar cakep, Sel.
Digambar ya lumayan.
Tapi
lumayan jelek.
Hey, lady. Happy anniversary.
Good morning. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Hey, hold on. Let me just skip.
People have been taking our jobs today.
Big round of applause.
For making the Sea Morning Show at the first time, we keep discussing and changing until like a day before on air. I think 5 minutes before on air, we're still changing and like all the clip hasn't ready yet.
Right.
So it's like it's very tension for all of us at the time.
Welcome back to the 3R News Show on See Today. And a team from the Pekanbaru Fire and Rescue Agency have rescued an owl that was entangled in a kite spring on top of the school roof in Riau.
Well, another creature.
We gave each other that look. It's like every single day we have another animal update from Riau.
From Riau.
I should just call
elephant,
my in-laws.
tiger.
Anything new around your house?
Snake, and now owl.
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
But of course, it's interesting in a beautiful way. So it suffered from a wound on its wing due to the incident.
The owl was trapped on a roof of a public junior high school in the Sukajadi district, Pekanbaru, Riau. The team had to rescue the owl carefully to prevent it from moving due to the high location. The team managed to rescue the owl using a stick and untangle the string that got stuck on its wing.
And due to its weak condition, the owl was then brought to the Pekanbaru Fire Department headquarters for further treatment. The sight of the owl on the school roof caught the attention of locals, especially students.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It reminds me of Harry Potter, you know?
The reason why we were just wondering is because, this was just proof that Indonesia is still very much on the wild side.
Yeah.
There is a lot of regions actually in Indonesia that still, encounter wild animals and need to handle these things. It just so happens for us who've been delivering this news, it always comes from the same province. Always comes from the same province.
Yeah. Interesting. And the same story comes up is always like the role of firefighters.
Yes. They are superheroes.
Yes, they are superhero here in Indonesia particularly. So let's move on to the next story. A fine dining experience for dogs is now open in San Francisco, California.
Well, we better make sure Serena Williams knows that this is for dogs.
Right.
Because here, canine customers could feast on fancy dishes like steak tartare with quail eggs.
Wow.
These exquisitely crafted desserts made out of finest ingredients wouldn't look out of place in the most exclusive of French patisseries. But Chef Rahmi Massaroueh isn't making cakes for human consumption, because this will end up in the bellies of San Francisco's most pampered pooches. Dog, which rhymed with Vogue, has just opened up in the city's Mission District. It caters to hungry dogs and for owners who want to spoil their four-legged friends. Classically trained Massaroueh says a huge amount of care goes into the food.
When we make our food, it is a process. It is very time-consuming. There's a lot of technique, there's a lot of method and detail to what we do. Our pastries, for example, take about 2 days on average to make. I know they're going to be eaten in 2 seconds.
Dog claims to offer the world's first fine dining tasting menu for dogs. For $70 per pop, 40 diners get a multiple-course Bon Appetit meal, featuring dishes like chicken skin waffles and filet mignon steak tartare with quail eggs. It also includes a mimosa and a treat for the owner. However, some critics have expressed outrage over the price point for the pampered pets, pointing out income inequality, gentrification, and homelessness in the city. For the cost of the tasting menu, you could buy at least 5 burritos at one of the many nearby taquerias in the Mission neighborhood. But that doesn't put off customers like year-old miniature Dachshunds Mason and his owner.
I wanted to celebrate him. He's so special to me. He's my four-legged child, and this is like the perfect place to do a really nice celebration. We're foodies too, so I guess he is too now.
San Francisco is a foodie city with more than 50 Michelin star restaurants in the SF Bay Area, one of the highest concentrations in the country. And San Francisco loves dogs. It's said that there are more dogs living in the city than there are children. Perhaps that's why some people are willing to pay a premium to treat their pets.
Whoa, what a fancy dog.
Yes, even the dogs is having their own right to choose the food, right, for the video.
Smell first and then they get to choose it. Yes,
Right.
make sure you are aware of it. All right, that does it for today's episode of the 3-Hour News Show on See Today. But before we go, I'd like to remind you to always practice the 3 W's, wash your hands, wear a mask, and keep your distance.
And please also visit your nearest healthcare facility and register for the COVID-19 vaccine and booster shot if you have not done so. Please do that. And be sure to also follow us on social media through our Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channel, all at See Today News.
And See Today can now be enjoyed in Australia on Foxtel OTT platform, Flash app, or in Kao Cable TV channel 84. Or if you are in the Philippines, you can also watch the Comfort Vision channel 58 and Singtel Singapore channel 15. And don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be sure to also catch our morning show every day at 6 a.m. I am Aubrey Bear.
I'm Muhammad Ahir.
And I'm Kai Surya. And we'd all like to say, see Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Bye.
Bersama kita lagi di sini lagi ya.
Ya benar sekali, bersama host yang sangat fenomenal di seluruh dunia ya. Bersama saya Indra Jegel.
Dan saya Kiki Oprah.